Will not be seen tonight. Stay tuned for a Fox Sports special presentation. Tonight, on this warm summer night, a small upstate New York town's peaceful existence sends our minds racing through our pastime's history as we reflect on this great game of all-stars. Dusty halls and the warm winds of summer make us feel young again.
One out, the pitch to Mays. The curveball, he drives it deep in the left center field.
We stand here in the streets of this sacred shrine, baseball's Hall of Fame. On this very night, the game's superstars will take part in a tradition exploding with awesome pride. But tonight is not just about Main Street, USA. Tonight is about rock and roll, baby, in the heart of America, Cleveland, Ohio, home to another Hall of Fame. This is where the king will rock forever, where blues make you move. Tonight, the muscle and the music speak loudly on this 30-year anniversary of the Summer of Love. Rock and roll and baseball, two American passions, man, here to stay. Tonight, stars will shine and keep rocking together forever in the USA. Live from Cleveland, it's the Snapper All-Star Pregame Show. Brought to you by Snapper Lawn and Garden Equipment. Snapper, anything less just won't cut it.
For the first time since 1981 and the fifth time in baseball history, baseball's Midsummer Classic comes back to Cleveland, Ohio. Welcome to the 68th All-Star Game, where fans from near and far have come to celebrate our national pastime here in Ohio. The weather forecast, somewhat ominous, but we're going to have baseball tonight. 82 degrees, 53% humidity, light showers. There is a tornado watch until 9 o'clock locally, but the good sign, the lightning clouds to our left, and that's from the area in which the wind is blowing here at Jacobs Field. And hi again, everybody. I'm Chip Carey along with Steve Psycho Lyons doing our Gene Kelly impersonation, dancing in the rain and singing in the rain tonight here on Fox. And boy, this rock and roll city, Steve, really has put on a great show for us the All-Star Week.
It's been a tremendous couple of days, and how things have changed here. Back in 1981, the All-Star Game was thrown together just 9 days after a 50-day players' strike, and the fans came out in record numbers that time. Since then, baseball has had some well-documented problems, but as we sit here tonight at the summer's greatest sporting event, baseball is clearly enjoying a renaissance. From interleague play to the chase of Roger Maris with Griffey and McGuire, it is obvious to me that baseball is back. And you know, Chip, if I can paraphrase, if you rebuild it, they will come, and that's what they're doing here in Cleveland tonight.
And, of course, a huge sellout crowd again on hand here at Jacobs Field, where they have always supported baseball's All-Star Game. And that's because the fans here are so great, and, of course, you, the fans at home, responsible for selecting the All-Star starters for tonight's ball game. This year, just like last, the leading vote-getters were, of course, Seattle's Ken Griffey Jr. and, of course, the Dodgers' Mike Piazza. Earlier today, Bob Brenly and Tim McCarver, who will be calling tonight's game with Joe Buck, sat down and talked to those two superstars. Let's start the conversation off with Tim McCarver and Mike Piazza.
All right, Chip, I mean, it's hard to realize that 1,600 players were drafted before Mike Piazza back in 1988. And, Mike, now you have been the leading vote-getter in the National League for the last 2 years. That's a remarkable ascent in a very short period of time.
I'm honored. I really am, and I'm really thankful to all the fans who voted for me, not only in Los Angeles, but obviously all over the country. I'm enjoying it. I'm trying to make the most of it, enjoy every second. And, you know, again, every All-Star game for me has just been tremendous. A lot of memories, and I'm having a lot of fun.
You realize that millions of people are going to be seeing the pitches from Greg Maddux and all the other National League pitchers tonight through this camera. Your thoughts on this device?
It's a little heavy. I hope. I'd like to see maybe a foul tip right there so people could see what it's really like to catch. But no, this is going to be interesting. I hope it provides a good perspective, and you can see how the balls move and just try to get a little glimpse of what our job's all about.
From Mike Piazza to Junior, and he's there with Bob Brenly.
Thanks, Tim. We're here in the American League dugout with the leading vote getter in this year's All-Star Game, Ken Griffey Jr., over 3.5 million votes. Ken, unlike the last couple years, you're going to actually get to play in this All-Star Game. A little different feeling this year?
Yeah, a little nervous. You know, I haven't played in a couple years, but, you know, I do respect what the fans do by punching my name out. I mean, that's they don't have to do it, but they do it, and I like to thank them.
Your father was the most valuable player in the 1980 All-Star Game. You were 10 years old. Were you at that game?
No, I was actually at home, and I was sitting on the couch, and I said, Dad's going to hit a home run, and he ended up hitting a home run.
That's very prophetic. Do you have any predictions for this year's game?
Hopefully that we win. That's what I really want. No, but I don't predict. You know, when you're little and, you know, your dad gets up, it's always, you know, you're always rooting for your dad. And I said he's going to hit a home run, and he hit it.
So you suppose Trey's at home tonight rooting for you to hit a home run?
Actually, Trey's here. He's with his grandfather right now. So hopefully my grandfather, well, my dad is taking him to Children's Palace or Toys R Us, so I don't have to.
All right, Junior, thanks a lot. Have a great game.
Thank you.
All right, Chip, back to you.
Okay, Bob, thank you very much. And Steve, what's with Junior? Looks a little tired before the All-Star game tonight.
He's a little bit cranky. You know, for the 5 All-Stars for the Mariners, they had to take a red-eye flight to get here. They've had 29 two-game series. I think he's a little bit tired. He has to carry that ball club.
Well, he's the man the fans have come to see tonight as the American League tries to snap a 4-game National League winning streak. Now stay tuned, friends. Join the Pepsi Party Sweepstakes on Fox to play. Get your Pepsi All-Star fan ballot stub ready and look for your lucky number. If it matches, you can enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win the grand prize trip to the 1998 All-Star Game in Denver or other great prizes such as the Pepsi Home Party Suite, which includes a Bose sound system, big screen TV, and a fridge stocked with Pepsi. All right, coming up, we'll introduce you to the combatants for tonight's All-Star Game in Cleveland. You're watching the Snapper All-Star pregame show here on Fox.
You're watching the 1997 All-Star Game on Fox.
Hey, what's on Fox 38?
Fox 38 Mystery.
Fox 38 Mornings.
Fox 38 Movies.
Fox 38 Kids.
Fox 38 Sports.
Fox 38 Sci-Fi.
Fox 38 Comedy.
When you want to know what's on, ask yourself, what's on Fox 38?
Combine A&A Auto Stores and the ultra-hot 97 Dodge Dakota, and what do you get? The most powerful giveaway of the year. Not just any truck, it's a fully accessorized A&A Dakota. A&A, known for the area's largest selection of auto parts and accessories, backed by our limited lifetime warranty and low price guarantee. Get Champion spark plugs for 69 cents each. Vent-shade window vent visors are $29.99 for a 2-piece set and $39.99 for a 4-piece set. Valley's Class 3 trailer hitches from $89.99. Win a 97 Dodge Dakota only at A&A Auto Stores.
Why do I come out here? Because the playing field's level, but the stairs never are. Because if I can't get frost-brewed Coors Light to the fans cold, those guys in the Rockies froze their butts for nothing. So I scale concrete every night. Because somewhere there's a guy eating peanuts or some nachos, and he's thinking of me.
Coors Light! Coors Light!
They are the sheep, and we are the shepherds. We tell them that college is the doorway. We tell them to prepare for the future. But the question remains, will we?
Hey, I'm Jennifer Love Hewitt. Watch Fox after breakfast. It's a real kick in the AM.
It's the Snapper All-Star pregame show, brought to you by Snapper Lawn and Garden Equipment. Snapper, anything less just won't cut it.
The 68th All-Star Game. The huge crowd is ready to meet the All-Stars. Let's send it to the public address announcer of the Indians, Mark Tromba, for tonight's introduction.
Cleveland. Now let's meet the 1997 National League All-Stars. First from the National League clubhouse manager, Cy Bynack. The trainers from the Los Angeles Dodgers, Charlie Strasser. And from the Montreal Expos, Ron McClain. The staff from the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Dews. Clarence Jones. Jim Beecham. At Corrales. And in the bullpen, Leo Mazzoni and Ned Yost. The coaches from the San Diego Padres, Bruce Bochy. And from the San Francisco Giants, Dusty Baker. And now the National League All-Star team. From the Atlanta Braves, elected to start but unable to play, outfielder Kenny Lofton. Catcher Javier Lopez. Third baseman Chipper Jones. Pitcher Denny Nagel. And pitcher Tom Glavine. From the Chicago Cubs, first baseman Mark Grace. From the Cincinnati Reds, elected to start but unable to play, shortstop Barry Larkin. From the Colorado Rockies, first baseman Andres Galarraga. From the Florida Marlins, outfielder Moises Alou. Catcher Charles Johnson. And pitcher Kevin Brown. From the Houston Astros, pitcher Darryl Kyle. From the Montreal Expos, pitcher Pedro Martinez. From the New York Mets, pitcher Bobby Jones. From the Philadelphia Phillies, pitcher Curt Schilling. From the Pittsburgh Pirates, second baseman Tony Womack. From the St. Louis Cardinals, shortstop Royce Clayton. From the San Diego Padres, outfielder Steve Finley. From the San Francisco Giants, pitcher Rod Beck. And pitcher Sean Estes. And now, tonight's starting lineup for the National League. First, the manager of the National League from the Atlanta Braves, Bobby Cox. Leading off from the Houston Astros, second baseman Craig Biggio. Batting second from the San Diego Padres, designated hitter Tony Gwynn. Batting third from the San Francisco Giants, left fielder Barry Bonds. Batting fourth from the Los Angeles Dodgers, catcher Mike Piazza. Batting fifth from the Houston Astros, first baseman Jeff Bagwell. Batting sixth from the Colorado Rockies, right fielder Larry Walker. Batting seventh from the San Diego Padres, third baseman Ken Caminiti. Batting eighth from the St. Louis Cardinals, center fielder Ray Langford. Batting ninth from the Atlanta Braves, shortstop Jeff Blauser. The starting pitcher for the National League, warming up in the bullpen from the Atlanta Braves, Greg Maddux. Ladies and gentlemen, your 1997 National League All-Stars. And now, the 1997 American League All-Stars. First, the American League clubhouse manager, Ted Walsh. The trainers from the Anaheim Angels, Rick Smith. And from your Cleveland Indians, Jim Warfield. The staff from the New York Yankees, Willie Randolph. Don Zimmer. Jose Cardinal. And in the bullpen, Mel Stottlemyre. The coaches from your Cleveland Indians, Mike Hargrove. And from the Texas Rangers, Johnny Oates. And now, the American League All-Star team from the Anaheim Angels, Jason Dixon. From the Baltimore Orioles, pitcher Randy Myers. And pitcher Mike Mussina. From the Boston Red Sox, shortstop Nomar Garciaparra. From the Chicago White Sox, outfielder Albert Bell. From your Cleveland Indians, catcher Sandy Alomar. First baseman, Jim Thome. And elected to start but unable to play, outfielder David Justice. From the Detroit Tigers, pitcher Justin Thompson. From the Kansas City Royals, pitcher Jose Rosado. From the Milwaukee Brewers, third baseman Jeff Cirillo. From the Minnesota Twins, second baseman Chuck Knobloch. From the New York Yankees, pitcher David Cone. Pitcher Mariano Rivera. And outfielder Bernie Williams. From the Oakland Athletics, first baseman Mark McGwire. From the Seattle Mariners, second baseman Joey Cora. From the Toronto Blue Jays, pitcher Roger Clemens. And pitcher Pat Henkin. And now, tonight's starting lineup for the American League. First, the manager of the American League from the New York Yankees, Joe Torre. Leading off from the Baltimore Orioles, left fielder Brady Anderson. Batting second from the Seattle Mariners, shortstop Alex Rodriguez. from the Seattle Mariners, center fielder Ken Griffey Jr. Batting fourth from the New York Yankees, first baseman Tino Martinez. Batting fifth from the Seattle Mariners, designated hitter Edgar Martinez. Batting sixth from the New York Yankees, right fielder Paul O'Neill. Batting seventh from the Baltimore Orioles, third baseman Cal Ripken. Batting eighth from the Texas Rangers, catcher Ivan Rodriguez. Batting ninth from the Baltimore Orioles, second baseman Roberto Alomar. And the starting pitcher for the American League, warming up in the bullpen from the Seattle Mariners, Randy Johnson.
So the lineups are in. We're just about ready for baseball. And friends, we invite you to stay tuned and join the Pepsi Party Sweepstakes on Fox to play. Get your Pepsi All-Star Fan Ballot stub ready and look for your lucky number. If it matches, you can enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win the grand prize trip to the 1998 All-Star Game or other great prizes such as the Pepsi Home Party Suite, which includes a Bose sound system, big screen TV, and a fridge stocked with Pepsi. Again, the All-Star Game just about ready to start. When we come back here on Fox, we'll have our national anthem. And Joe Buck, Jim McCarver, and Bob Brenly right after this timeout.
I love watching baseball on TV, but it can't beat playing ball with my family. Family is what it's all about. And Aflac was made for families. See, if you got sick or injured and couldn't work, Aflac Supplemental Insurance is there to help fill the gaps left by your regular insurance. Over 40 million people worldwide protect the ones they love with Aflac. Remember, if I get on, you bunt.
Swimsuit model Rebecca Romaine, and this is where I live.
Please don't litter where I live. I want to come home and get positive. Swimsuit models have feelings too, but when you litter, we get mad at you. Please don't litter, don't you care?
I'm so mad I could pull your hair.
Think how big the world would be if everyone picked up their mess like you and me.
In a GMC Yukon, you may welcome a little challenge.
A little mountain climbing.
With horsepower that leads its class, Yukon dominates the road.
Even towing feels like child's play.
Yukon by GMC. It puts you comfortably in command.
Arm yourself with a different kind of deodorant protection. Arm & Hammer deodorant. The only one that absorbs and eliminates odor with baking soda. This man used Arm & Hammer on his left side. Deodorant without baking soda on his right. Later, odor detectors showed we eliminated odor. The other just covered it up. Arm yourself with a better kind of protection. Arm & Hammer. Or arm yourself with Arm & Hammer antiperspirant. The only one that absorbs and eliminates odor with the power of baking soda. Arm & Hammer antiperspirant.
Premiering Monday on Fox.
Live from Cleveland, it's the Snapper All-Star Pregame Show. Here's Chip Carey.
And now to honor America here at the All-Star Game in Cleveland, here's country music sensation Leanne Rimes with our national anthem.
And now to Honor America, please welcome MCG Curb recording artist and 1997 Grammy Award winner Leanne Rimes.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the reckless raglan, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
What a voice, Leanne Rimes with our national anthem. And now it's time to introduce you to our voices calling the game tonight here on Fox. Let's send it up to Joe Buck, Tim McCarver, and Bob Brenly. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Chip Carey, and thank you very much. This is our perch getting ready for the All-Star game. Great work by Leanne Rimes. We hope to do just as well with Tim McCarver and Bob Brenly. We get ready for this 68th All-Star game, and I'll start with you, Tim. Calling your 8th, you played in 2, and the All-Star game is always a good time to stop in mid-season. We've had interleague play this year and see where we all are, and here tonight we're going to have a lot of fun matchups.
It is everything an all-star game should be. You have the two best pitchers from both leagues, the terrifying Randy Johnson, the eerily cool Greg Maddux. You have Sandy Alomar Jr. on a 30-game hitting streak. You have two guys from the National League, Tony Gwynn, Larry Walker, in pursuit of 400, the first time since 1941. And then Mark McGwire with 31 home runs, Ken Griffey Jr. with 30. If they stay healthy, they could surpass Maris 61 and 61 in baseball. It does not get any better than this.
We turn to my other guy here, Bob Brenly, who is calling his first. You played him. You weren't an all-star, right?
I think.
Okay. Bob Brenly was an all-star, and after all that Tim McCarver said, I guess this game kind of lends itself to being an individual player.
Well, baseball has been a team game. It's been said a team game played by individuals, and those individuals get a chance to showcase their individual talents tonight. If you're a power pitcher, rear back and try to strike them all out. If you're a base stealer, try to steal a bag. If you're a catcher, don't let them steal the bag. If you're a home run hitter, you try to knock down the scoreboard out here at Jacobs Field. Make no mistake, both teams would like to win this game, but more importantly, they want to leave their calling card on this 97 All-Star game.
What about the guys that can't run and don't hit real well? And
they're watching us.
He's ready. We're ready. Glad you're with us. First pitch is coming up after this from your local Fox station.
Different people to have the same dream. Yes, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year. Toyota's RAV4, Dream of the Year. For a lot of different people.
You can roll the back seat on a Dodge Caravan this way, that way, to the garage, out of the garage, every which way. Even the price is easy to handle. During the National Dodge Sale, you'll find all kinds of great offers on Dodge Caravan, including up to $1,000 cash back to close the deal. Caravan, the new Dodge.
Small cars used to drive like this. Then a big change came along. The all-new 97 Ford Escort. It's got a bigger engine with more horsepower than Civic. A sport suspension you can't get on Cavalier. Plus, big car room and a 4-speed automatic Neon doesn't even offer. Now get Escort with $1,000 cash back or 2.9 financing. That's $1,000 cash back or finance for 2.9% for 48 months. And own what's new. Ford Escort. Only from your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
It's time for another Fox 38 comedy break.
The Simpsons, 5:30 and 6 weeknights, part of our great comedy lineup on Fox 38.
Live from Cleveland, it's the Snapper All-Star pregame show. Here's Joe Buck.
Welcome back to Jacobs Field. It rained a little bit earlier, but the rain has held off, at least during the player introductions. We hope to get through unscathed weather-wise. I guess we'll find out if Mother Nature is a fan of the All-Star game here tonight. The American League teams are getting ready to take the field, and we give you a look at the lineup. We already ran through it with the player introduction, but here it is again, brought to you by Miller Beer, the starting lineup for the National League All-Stars. Biggio will lead it off. Then it's Tony Gwynn, the DH. It's Barry Bonds in left field with Mike Piazza cleaning up. Jeff Bagwell at first base. Larry Walker in right. Ken Caminiti is at third, hitting seventh. Ray Langford is in the lineup in center field, hitting eighth. And hitting ninth is the shortstop, Jeff Blauser. All of that will try to take care of Randy Johnson. A study in opposites tonight. Randy Johnson hooking up with Greg Maddux.
Well, they call him the big unit. This is one man that right-handed hitters, left-handed hitters, switch hitters, nobody likes to face this guy. Incredible numbers through the first half of the season, an overpowering fastball at times, a devastating slurve, and just a little bit of intimidation.
And definitely two guys at the opposite ends of the spectrum. Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux. We talked to Greg Maddux about his thoughts on the big left-hander.
He's intimidating. You know, he gets guys out before the game even starts. And, you know, he's scary. You know, guys don't want to hit off of him, you know. You know, me, they don't care. They're ready to go out there and grab the bat, you know, swing hard.
That's an interesting point. He gets guys out before they face him, even 2 or 3 in the afternoon for a night game.
Looks like something out of Jurassic Park jumping at you when he brings the ball to the plate, and there's the scouting report on the big unit.
So his last start before the All-Star game, he was between 88 and 92 with this fastball. Not the overpowering Randy Johnson we're used to seeing, but in this particular setting, I think he's going to rear back and find a little bit extra.
Randy Johnson getting ready to take on the National Leaguers, and as he prepares, we need to set the defense for the American League. Randy Johnson will deal with Biggio, Gwynn, and Barry Bonds. Biggio first up, so we'll see. We'll get an early look at a National Leaguer taking a look at Randy Johnson, and Biggio, of course, has the advantage of being a right-handed hitter, which is a little better facing Johnson. Flashball pop, and here we go. Strike one on Biggio. It's going to be an interesting look at Larry Walker facing Randy Johnson here tonight.
Larry Walker batting sixth, and remember, Larry Walker opted out of a ball game at Coors Field in Denver earlier this year against Johnson.
back, and the count quickly 0-2.
Well, to quote the famous boxer Joe Louis, that you can run, but you cannot hide.
Not tonight.
Nowhere to hide tonight.
And he was either talking to Billy Kahn or Charles Nelson Riley, one of the two. He gets his chance here tonight, but that's a little later. 0-2 the count on Biggio, and got him. A delayed call by the home plate umpire. 3 pitches, and have a seat.
It was a sweeping slider that got the outside part of the plate. Pudge Rodriguez framing it very well, and this is from our catcher cam. Slider. Did it freeze you, folks? It did Craig Biggio.
And he is the first out now. Tony Gwynn leans back from one up and in, ball 1. Tony Gwynn, obviously one of the best hitters ever. Hitting .394, number 2 in baseball, and taking ball 2, 2-0. Up the middle, knocked down by Johnson. 2 out. That ball was headed up the middle, and Big Randy speared it. And the first 2 National Leaguers are gone here in the first inning.
It was a tough play for Johnson because his momentum took him toward third base. He had to come back with the glove and stop it around his left shoulder.
You have a much better chance as a hitter to hit it under Randy Johnson than to try to bounce it over him. 6'10" out there on the mound. Very imposing figure.
So now with 2 out, nobody on, another left-hander. It's Barry Bonds, and he looks at ball 1 low and away. The number's not typical Barry Bonds mid-season. 275, 20 home runs. He's driven in just 46. Very good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, if there's one guy on this National League roster that can get up for facing Randy Johnson, it is Barry Bonds. He has never had trouble with left-handed pitchers throughout his career. He's never had trouble with the best fastballs in the National League.
2 out, nobody on, and a breaking ball from Johnson for strike 2. I have a feeling we're going to keep checking with Larry Walker. 2 out, nobody on, and a 1-2 pitch coming to Barry Bonds. A 1-2-3 perfect start for Randy Johnson. He struck out Biggio. He struck out Bonds. We'll see Junior in the bottom of the inning after a half in the All-Star game. No score.
Up here, I feel like traffic is miles away.
With the most horsepower in its class and its accommodating size.
Unlike some others, I have virtually unlimited capacity.
Yukon can make you feel invincible. Yukon by GMC. It puts you comfortably in command.
Well, you've got to say it's a great day for a ball game today. The fans are already into it.
Hot dog. Hot dog. Get your hot dog here, sir. Here's your hot dog.
Get your ice cold drink. Refreshing. Ice cold drink.
And things are just about ready to get underway.
Thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Thank heaven.
Is it safe?
Is it safe? Safe?
Not safe. It's not safe. It's safe.
It's not safe.
Not safe.
I read it wasn't safe.
It's too risky.
It's not safe.
What are you talking about?
Shopping on the internet.
Your son is shopping on the internet.
The internet? With his credit card. It's the future of commerce. I read about it.
It could be safe.
Well, how do you know?
IBM is making it safer to buy things over the web.
Bottom of the first inning here in Cleveland. Turns out to be a very pleasant night here at Jacobs Field. And another look at the Miller Beer starting lineup for the American League All-Stars. They will lead it off with Brady Anderson from Baltimore, with Alex Rodriguez batting second. Ken Griffey Jr. is hitting third, then Tino Martinez, Edgar Martinez, and Paul O'Neill in the middle. Cal Ripken is hitting seventh, Ivan Rodriguez eighth, and at second base batting ninth is Roberto Alomar. And a look at the defense for the National League. Obviously very strong defensively, managed by Bobby Cox. A look at the defense, and now a look at the starter. Bobby Cox gets a lot of looks at Greg Maddux.
Bobby Cox gets the look that a lot of managers would like to have, getting to see Greg Maddux go to the mound every fourth or fifth day. He's a surgeon out there on the mound. Unlike Randy Johnson, who tries to overpower hitters, Greg Maddux tries to let hitters get themselves out. See the 99 strikeouts to only 13 walks on the season.
4 straight Cy Young Awards for Maddux. The string broken last year with his teammate John Smoltz, and here's Brady. He takes a strike. Broken bat, ground ball to second for Biggio. One away, and the bat shattered in the hands of Brady Anderson. Good pitch, and that is not atypical with Greg Maddux on the mound facing a left-handed hitter.
Sailing fastball away, and then the cutting fastball inside. He'll throw any pitch, any speed, at any time. He's like a Russian novel. He is tough to read. Has so much movement, control on his fastball. He doesn't need the velocity that a guy like Randy Johnson needs. And as Bobby said, a master surgeon out there. He can carve you up.
1 out, nobody on for Alex Rodriguez. I like it, a Russian novel. Da, конечно. Alex hitting .312. He's been bothered by the bad sides, but after taking a couple of weeks off, he's back in there, and we're happy to see him in the All-Star game. And they're getting a little bit of a scouting report. I think Don Zimmer knows a little bit about Greg Maddux.
Yeah, Don Zimmer's never told stories in the dugout before, has he?
No. In, out, around, wherever. Don Zimmer's got a story for you. Strike 2 on Alex Rodriguez.
There is nobody in uniform at this game that is any happier to be here than Joey Cora right there in the middle. Took the red eye from California. Arrived yesterday morning. Couldn't wait to get to the ballpark.
2-2 now on Rodriguez with Griffey Jr. to follow. Somebody asked him if he was going to get any rest, go to sleep. He said, I might miss some.
Right.
Looks a little wide-eyed. 1 out, nobody on. The 2-2 to Rodriguez just missed the outside corner. And like the three of us talked about so often in the World Series, it a lot of times depends on what the home plate umpire is going to give Greg Maddux. That pitch he did not, and a full count on Rodriguez with 1 out, nobody on. We'll do it again.
And you can see even when Maddux falls behind in the count to these American League hitters, he's not going to give in and throw a fastball down the middle of the plate. Came at Alex Rodriguez with a changeup right there, got him well out in front, pulled the ball foul.
Randy Johnson taking a breather and stretching out that back. 3 balls, 2 strikes, and Rodriguez shoots one to right. He's too good. He is too good to be that young. 1 on, 1 out. And Rodriguez aboard after a phenomenal year last year, hitting .358 to lead the American League.
Last year, he was the youngest American League shortstop in the history of the American League, 18 days shy of his 21st birthday. And this year, he becomes the youngest starting shortstop in All-Star game history.
And from one Mariner to the next, here's Ken Griffey Jr. And the battle with Greg Maddux with 1 on, 1 out here in the first inning. Ball 1 low to Griffey. Griffey, of course, has missed the last 2 All-Star games with the wrist injuries and now jumps in there to face Greg Maddux. Rodriguez is running, and Griffey pops it up into shallow left for Barry Bonds. Back to first is Rodriguez, 2 out, and Griffey is 0 for 1.
Rodriguez with a huge jump at first base that time. Greg Maddux, normally very good at holding runners, seemed to ignore A-Rod over there at first base a little bit, and he was allowed to get a running start. Would have stolen that base rather easily. He's starting to lean a little bit as Maddux began his delivery to home plate. Has to retreat to first.
And he is there with 2 out for Tino Martinez. Tino did not have a terrific World Series a year ago, but look at the numbers midway through 1997, and he, folks, is the home run king from the home run derby yesterday. Not McGuire, not Griffey, Tino Martinez.
Well, it's appropriate that he worked in his father's cigar factory growing up, because he has been lighting it up.
1 on, 2 out, and that's backing out of play. Very proud of you, Bob, to slip that one in early. Tino Martinez was not just scooting him over the wall either here yesterday. He was crushing pitches. Used a tremendous bat in the competition here yesterday afternoon, and one of many that Tino Martinez hit. So he is the home run king from the home run derby yesterday. Rodriguez running. That ball is down the line in right and foul. Just foul off Greg Maddux here in the first.
Cal Ripken Jr. had a very good look at that. The American League dugout on the third base side, and this looked like a slider inside that misses by about 6 inches from being a fair ball. Maddux looks like he thought that ball was fair. Rodriguez running on the play. You have a chance to track it yourself. Wow. Inches.
Definitely foul and definitely crushed. Now the 0-2 is down and in for ball one.
Only a guy like Maddux, after a home run hitter hits a ball just foul, will come back inside on a guy like that.
You know, look at Mike Piazza's catcher's gear. It's like a galvanized trash can sitting back there.
Part of the cast from The Wizard of Oz. There's just inside 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Thank goodness he's a tall, statuesque catcher, because if he was one of the short, dumpy catchers from my era, he would look like a trash can back there.
1 on, 2 out here in the first inning. No score. The National Leaguers went down in order. And the 2-2 to Martinez misses low and away. So from 0-2 to 3-2 from Greg Maddux, with Edgar Martinez waiting on deck. There's Pudge. What if he had all that silver stuff on?
Pudge is not quite as tall as Mike Piazza, only stands about 5'9", so he would probably resemble that trash can we've been talking about.
Runner goes on 3-2 and a ground ball to second. Biggio picks it up. Martinez is gone. So are the American Leaguers. When we come back, we head to the second. There is no score. Larry Walker will step in against Randy Johnson.
Снова будем счастливы, будем жить долго, долго, долго. Нам повезем жизнь новую,
After the All-Star Game, take a break with the other boys of summer.
Pussycats were pussycats.
Out to Sea is hilarious.
You will be courteous and respectful at all times.
I highly doubt it.
And Siskel and Ebert give it 2 thumbs up.
This is the best possible thing that could have happened.
Jack Lemmon, Walter Matthau.
I saw the way you were staring at my daughter's chest.
Oh, I used to be a cardiologist.
Out to Sea, rated PG-13. Now playing only in theaters.
Snapper's great More for 40 deal. Buy any new Snapper walk-behind mower and get any one of these handy Snapper accessories for under $40 and get more from your Snapper mower. More efficient grass collection with the Snapper bagging system. More effective thatch removal with the Snapper Thatcherizer. Or more leaf relief with the Snapperizer Leaf Shredder. Go to your local Snapper dealer today and get more for 40.
Snapper. Anything less just won't cut it. See your local Snapper dealer today.
Ever heard of drive-in claim service? Well, who's your insurance company?
From the director and producer of Independence Day comes The Visitor. Fridays this fall on Fox.
Welcome back to Cleveland, ready for the top of the second inning. No score. The American Leaguers have the game's only hit, and Randy Johnson is back to work dealing with Mike Piazza. And dealing up and away for ball one. It's Piazza, Bagwell, and Walker. And Mike steps in third in the National League, hitting .357. 1 ball, 1 strike.
In my opinion, Mike Piazza has the best chance to hit Randy Johnson hard the other way. You could fool Piazza on a breaking ball, and he can flat-footed take you out of the ballpark to right field. Home runs in the last 2 All-Star games.
Last year's MVP, and that's strike 2.
And Piazza has just as much, if not more, power to the opposite field than he does to left, his pull field.
Leading it off here in the second with no score. And quickly in the hole, 1-2. And that just eluded the glove of Ivan Rodriguez. And back to catcher cam with Rodriguez behind the plate working with Randy Johnson.
Well, if you want to see what it's like to be a catcher, have somebody sitting next to you punch you in the chest right about now. Whack. He has his glove in position to catch that ball, but the tick off the bat deflected it just enough to miss the glove and hit the chest protector.
1-2 the count. Randy Johnson. There you go. That pitch up, and Piazza, he can afford to be a little late on that very good fastball and still drive it to the right side of the field.
Like he was there. That is a classic 2-strike Piazza swing and a ball out of the strike zone.
Again, the 1-2. And that'll get it back and out of play. Piazza, of course, last year playing near his hometown of Norristown, Pennsylvania. Game was at the vet in Philadelphia. He ended up with a home run and a double and took the MVP award. Very, very good at bat for Piazza as Johnson tries to get it past him. And as we talk about Piazza and his efforts last year in the Midsummer Classic off Charles Nagy. And Tim, don't think there was much doubt about it.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think there was any doubt in Mike Piazza's mind, nor Charles Nagy's.
A ball and 2 strikes on Piazza, and that's up the middle to the right of Alomar. Tiptoes after it, 1 away. We want to tell you early that tonight's All-Star Game on Fox is also available in Spanish by tuning your TV set to the SAP channel. Here's Bagwell. It's amazing that a guy with the uppercut swing of Bagwell can still hit for average. You know the power is going to be there, but every year he's over 300. 1 out, nobody on. And the uppercut swing, a little chopper up the middle. Alomar taking care of the first 2 here in the second inning. Well, now it's time for a Miller Time All-Star memory. And I think of the last 5-7 years, this is probably the most vivid for most. 1993 at Baltimore's Camden Yards, Randy Johnson and John Kruk. The at-bat and a little tip of the cap, and now here we go.
He did it again! He did it again!
He gets Larry Walker.
I told you it hit right-handed. We were talking about it before the game. He batted right-handed earlier in the year in batting practice. And here he is. He's going to face him right-handed. Why not? Just turn it around. Why not? He looks like a catcher hitting.
A lot of people don't remember that these 2 are former teammates coming up through the Expos organization. And now he's back to the left side, and that's what this game's all about.
Little fun at the old ballpark.
There's a strike from Randy Johnson.
He looked like a tank driver with that helmet on backwards.
2 out, nobody on, and, well, 3-1 on Larry Walker. Walker is hitting .398 on the season. And a 2-out walk. So Walker reaches base after that first pitch that was like the flyby here right after the anthem.
It's a big sight game here. Randy Johnson throws the ball over Larry Walker's head just like he did to John Kruk. No harm there, well over his head, no chance to get him hurt. And look at the dugout. Look at the National League dugout. Mark Grace is saying, get him out of there before I have to hit.
Ray Langford saying the same thing. All left-handers.
Here's Caminiti. He unloads in strike one, 95 miles per hour from Randy Johnson. And so much goes into that matchup with Larry Walker and the grief that he took for sitting out that June 13th game in Seattle against Randy Johnson. Quickly an 0-2 count on Caminiti.
Well, that's not totally unusual in the history of baseball. Tim, I'm sure you remember guys used to come up with Ryanitis when Nolan Ryan was starting.
Oh, yeah, all sorts of ailments.
Sure.
Sore necks, elbows.
How about a former teammate of yours, Roger Maris, in the 1968 series, sitting out both Game 2 and Game 5 against Mickey Lolich. Maris regarded as one of the tougher, grittier players ever.
Absolutely. Right.
And he said to his manager, Red Schoendienst, "Hey, Red, I'm sorry, I just can't hit this guy." He sat out Game 2 and Game 5 against Lolich and then ended up going 0 for 3 in the finale.
Not a lot of other Cardinals could hit Mickey Lolich in that series either. Up 3-1. The Tigers came back and won 3 in a row, and Mickey Lolich was the MVP of that series.
So it begs the question, was the sin committed by Larry Walker sitting out, or being honest about why he was sitting out against Randy Johnson? Still 0-2 on Caminiti.
You know, there have been other left-handed hitters that have set out against Randy Johnson. Also, Rafael Palmeiro, 0 for 4 lifetime against Johnson. John Olerud, now with the Mets, when he was with the Blue Jays in 9 years, was 0 for 2 against Randy Johnson.
That barely missed.
So it's not like Larry Walker was the first guy that set out against the terrifying Johnson.
But he was the first guy to be honest about it.
And the first guy that was hovering around the 400 mark, and people wanted to see the matchup. They didn't get it. And that's the other end of the argument, is that the fan that was more upset than anybody that they didn't get a chance to see Randy Johnson against Larry Walker, one of the game's best pitchers against this year's best hitter. A ground ball to third, Ripken. Still getting familiar with the position, takes care of it to his left. We'll see, Cal. Bottom of the second, going there here in Cleveland. All-Star game, no score.
My love must be a kind of blind love. I can't see anyone but you.
Norman Feedy, Pepsi drinker for life. Pepsi, Generation Next.
Said he was going to call us, tell us what it feels like.
Across America, more people use Cellular One than any other cellular service.
Hello?
In a national tasting of regular and iced beers, Brewmasters named one beer the best tasting beer in America, Old Milwaukee. So when you want the best tasting beer, now you know where to turn.
Hey, Fred, want a Brontosaurus burger?
No, Barney, I'm driving.
Oops, I dropped my fries.
Watch the confidence, pterodactyl.
This new Twister sure makes for a smooth ride.
What? Welcome to the 90s.
Now you can try the new Bacon Ranch Twister, plus a Pepsi, just $2.99.
It's time for the Pepsi Party Sweepstakes on Fox. Grab your Pepsi All-Star Fan Ballot stub and look for your Pepsi Party Sweepstakes lucky number. If your lucky number matches 627449, you can enter the sweepstakes for a chance to win the grand prize trip for 10 to the 1998 All-Star Game or other great prizes. The 1997 All-Star Game on Fox is brought to you by Yukon by GMC, putting you comfortably in command. By 7-Eleven, oh thank heaven for 7-Eleven. By IBM, solutions for a small planet. And by Red Lobster, prepared so fresh you can taste it.
Before Ken Caminiti hit that ball to the left side, the slider from Randy Johnson just missed right into your living room.
And you can see Pudge Rodriguez trying to pull that ball back towards the center of the plate.
Randy Johnson is taking care of the first 2 innings, and from what we understand, that's probably it for Randy Johnson. Here's Edgar Martinez leading it off with O'Neill and Ripken to follow. If anybody gets on, Ivan Rodriguez. All of those decisions up to Joe Torre, who was finally here as a manager. Off to the right side and a quick 0-2 count on Edgar Martinez. Nobody knows anything about Edgar Martinez yet. Year after year after year, a 2-time batting champion. He just puts up big numbers.
Well, Lee Elia, his hitting coach in Seattle, calls him a quiet Pete Rose. He has that kind of command of the strike zone, that kind of a hitter. Sprays the ball around to all parts of the park.
I think Edgar Martinez may be a big reason if Ken Griffey Jr. breaks Roger Maris's record. Martinez could share in the glory because he hits behind Griffey, and Mark McGwire, on the other hand, even though he has 1 home run more than Ken, is more or less naked in that Oakland Athletics lineup.
Martinez and Maddox hooking up, and Martinez gets into one to left. At the track, at the wall, goodbye.
The purest hitter in this game from the left side, Tony Gwynn. From the right side, Edgar Martinez. There is no surefire way of pitching him. That ball in on the hands, biting in. He one-hands it out of the ballpark.
That comes leading off the 2nd inning, and now here's Paul O'Neill. He takes a strike.
The American League has had some pretty good cuts against Greg Maddux in the early going of this game. They've hit a couple of balls right on the button.
Maddox this season has allowed only 4 home runs. Tino Martinez nearly hit one in the first, just foul, and now Edgar Martinez gets one into left. And he gets a back rub from one of his teammates, Alex Rodriguez.
That's one of the most talented masseuses you will ever see.
Nothing into the count, now ball 1.
And he short-armed that ball. The pitch came in, his arms got short.
That's from Captain 30-game hitting streak, Sandy Alomar.
Hoping some of that from Edgar will rub off on him for the second half of the season.
A ball and 2 strikes on O'Neill. Up the middle. Ooh, that hurt. Off the ankle of Maddox. Limps after it, takes care of him, 1 away, but you know that Bobby Cox will take a deep breath and hope that Greg's all right.
Looked like it hit Greg on the right heel. He is scheduled to start against the New York Mets on Saturday. I think he goes down, but I think it hit the bone on the inside part of his right heel. Caroms off the mound. He makes the play and appears to be all right.
Well, what a great athlete. Even after getting hit in the foot with that ball, able to keep his wits about himself and pick up the ball and retire the runner at first base.
You know, they give Gold Glove awards out to pitchers. He's got 7.
Does he really? I wonder why. That was a routine play for Greg Maddux.
1 out, nobody on. Here's Ripken. Up the middle for Biggio. Came to an all-star game his first time as a catcher. The only guy ever to appear in an all-star game as both a catcher and then years later as a second baseman. We're covering tonight's all-star game as the Goodyear Blimp Spirit of Akron. This is the 72nd consecutive year Goodyear Blimps have covered the nation's top sporting events. So on a night where earlier the weather was a bit more threatening than it is right now, they stayed up in the air and watched all those little biplanes with messages shooting by them. And some rather interesting messages on some of those planes.
One in particular.
There's Ivan Rodriguez. Pudge takes a strike.
One of the planes had trailing along that Will Rogers never met Joey Bell. That was about 10 minutes before Albert Bell was greeted with boos by everybody in unison here at Jacobs Field.
Strike two on Rodriguez. Did you find it interesting that the crowd here, while they booed Albert Bell, which was to be expected, cheered Curt Schilling and Pedro Martinez, two guys they would love to have in Indians uniform,
trying to woo them with their cheering.
1 and 2 as that pitch barely missed.
Huge ovation also for Kenny Lofton. Remember the Indians last year, now the fine center fielder for the Atlanta Braves.
2 out, nobody on, and now 2 and 2. I don't think people follow National League Baseball realize just how good Kenny Lofton is and what he can do at the top of a lineup.
Well, he certainly made a very good Atlanta Braves team even better. A dimension of speed.
Talking about a guy in Kenny Lofton who he just turned 30. Really, before the age of 30, will have been the igniter for 2 very good offenses. And here's a guy that's going to be a free agent next year.
2 offenses that only met 2 years ago in the World Series, Cleveland and Atlanta.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And Rodriguez wants to think about it. So David Justice ends up in Cleveland. They love David Justice. Actually was voted as a starter for the American League, but out with a bad elbow. Just off the disabled list. And there's Kenny Lofton. Same story. Bad groin and not able to play here tonight.
And Joe, speaking of free agents, Ivan Rodriguez will be one also and may command the biggest money next fall.
With one exception. The man on the mound.
I don't think he's going to be a free agent. There is no way the Atlanta Braves are going to let Greg Maddux go. No way, in my judgment.
If he does become a free agent, you're talking about signing a sure Hall of Famer. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on. And a little comebacker. Will he be a free agent? Won't he be a free agent? Only time will tell. Maddux threw 2. A home run by Edgar. We'll be back to the Jake after this from your local Fox station.
It's America's best-selling car, Ford Taurus, and for only $198 a month, it is now America's best summer value. That's right. For a limited time, drive Ford Taurus for only $198 a month. See your Quality Plus Ford dealer. Get $1,500 cash back or put it towards the down payment and pay only $198 a month on Taurus, America's most popular car. Ford Taurus, only $198 a month for 24 months, or get $1,500 cash back, but only through August 4th, and only at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
Ah, it's been years since I had so much fun. Coming back to tell people about this wonderful bank here in northeastern Pennsylvania, Franklin First. Has a nice ring to it. Here at Franklin First, we help more people get mortgages than any other bank around. I'm proud to say that's my bank. For checking, loans, business banking. See Franklin First. We're the bank for northeastern Pennsylvanians.
A lot of different people to have the same dream. Yes, Automobile Magazine's Automobile of the Year. Toyota's RAV4, Dream of the Year. For a lot of different people.
Why do I come out here? Because the playing field's level, but the stairs never are. Because if I can't get frost-brewed Coors Light to the fans cold, those guys in the Rockies froze their butts for nothing. So I scale concrete every night. Because somewhere there's a guy eating peanuts or some nachos, and he's thinking of me.
Coors Light! Coors Light!
Gibbons Ford, where all Fords cost less. Interstate 81 to exit 56. 1 mile on Main Street to Dixon City and Gibbons Ford.
68th All-Star Game and the 5th time the city of Cleveland has hosted it. And they have been wonderful hosts. To the surprise of no one. Randy Johnson, 2 shutout innings to the surprise of no one. And he gives way to Roger Clemens, the hard-throwing right-hander. 13 victories, #1 in the big league.
And there's some question that Roger Clemens may want out of Toronto. He said he wanted to go up there to play for a contender. The Blue Jays have not been a contender up to this point of the season. Roger the Rocket still has the overpowering fastball, hard slider, tremendous split-fingered fastball.
Fresh off a 2-0 shutout against the Yankees on Sunday afternoon. And that's right, folks. He's better than he's been in 5 years. His velocity's back, the best forkball in the American League. Two-seamer and a four-seamer. Now, the two-seamer goes away from the left-hander. The four-seamer rides in tight to him.
Here's a guy who's happy to see Randy Johnson off the mound, even though it is Roger Clemens out there now. Ray Lankford. A late swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ray Lankford in the lineup replacing Kenny Lofton.
I think most of these guys would rather see Cy Young himself than face Randy Johnson.
Definitely the left-hander. 1 ball, 1 strike from Clemens. A little overmatched there for strike 2.
Yeah, the first-time All-Stars, I don't care what you say, you're still battling jitters. It's tough to go up there on this kind of a stage, facing one of the best in the other league, and try to control your aggressiveness and control your emotions.
And that's a very good point, Bob, because it's an awkward situation the first time you're an all-star, because you go in the clubhouse and these are guys that you've been competing against all year, and for one day you're supposed to be their teammate and win for the cause, and now 2 days later you're going to be right back at them trying to beat them.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and Lankford grounds to second, and Alomar 1 up, 1 down. Well, action and adventure are alive and well on Fox this summer. While the other networks are showing reruns, you'll experience the passion, magic, and the mystery of Roar, an epic new series premiering this Monday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on Fox. And when you talk about driven on your scouting report, Roger Clemens, I'm sure, driven to show the Boston Red Sox he had enough to keep around Fenway Park. Roger Clemens, of course, a guy who 2 different times in his big league career struck out 20 hitters in a game. Major league record, April 29, 1986, the first time against Seattle at Fenway. A 3-hitter, and the Red Sox won it 3-1. And then in 1996, 20 strikeouts, September 18th, at Tiger Stadium, a 4-0 win. And he bid farewell to the Red Sox. He will bid hello to the Red Sox Friday night at Fenway.
I think that's the most remarkable thing about those 20 strikeout games. They came 10 years apart.
Physically, he looked much different, but the results were exactly the same.
Biggio at the plate after the National League gets its first hit of the night off the bat of Jeff Blauser. And now to the right side, Alomar. Diving stop, and he can get only Biggio at first. Wonderful play by the game's best.
Once most second basemen commit towards second, they don't have the wherewithal to recover in time and throw to first. Blauser, an excellent jump off of first base, and a fast Biggio was cut down. An extraordinary reaction by Alomar.
You know, we talked at the top of the show about showcasing your individual talents. We didn't mention defense, but 6 consecutive Gold Gloves for Roberto Alomar.
Now a runner at second with 2 gone for Tony Gwynn. American League out in front on the Edgar Martinez home run off Maddox. And now the National Leaguers look for a hit from one of the best. Ball and a strike from Clemens. Jeff Blauser, the first hit for the National League. Nothing new for Jeff, who came in fourth in the National League in the hitting race at 346. Now 2-1 on Gwynn.
That was a cat-like play by Rodriguez. He is perhaps the most compact catcher that I have ever seen. Look at this play. Backhanded. Not a chance to get in front of the ball. A compact, I mean, everything works in unison so well. That's why he has that remarkable throwing arm.
Now 2-2 on Tony Gwynn. Our Fox box, top left-hand corner of your screen. Red dot at second base. This time indicates Jeff Blauser.
Nice circle, Bob. Well, I was trying to reach behind Tim over there. Didn't want to poke him in the back.
American League out in front on the Martinez home run, and Gwynn looking for the 2-out RBI hit.
I failed geometry. What can I say?
The little-known prerequisite for being a color analyst on network television. Make your circles complete. 2-2 on Gwynn. To the left side, bobbled by Ripken, hangs with it, inning over. A 1-out hit by Blauser. The National League strands at second, bottom of the third, 1-0 American League.
I mean, the best athletes don't even play baseball.
Hey, if you hit the ball far enough, you don't need to run.
Drills it for right center field. Inning done! Back she goes! Goodbye, baseball!
When you have heartburn and pain, these won't give you complete relief. Problems this bad need Alka-Seltzer, the only one with effervescent power to speed relief, plus the medicines to relieve all your symptoms. Alka-Seltzer, the 100% solution.
Brain freeze.
So good, it hurts. Slurpee. The coolest thing on earth.
Recently, an independent group of brewmasters and beer experts conducted a tasting of just about every major beer in the country. For 4 months, they sampled regular and ice beers for character, flavor, and overall quality. And in the end, the judges named one beer the best-tasting beer in America, Old Milwaukee. So when you want the best-tasting beer, now you know where to turn. Old Milwaukee.
Did you know every day your eyes are being bombarded by harmful UV rays? That's why AccuView contact lenses are introducing UV protection. Now AccuView gives you the comfort of fresh new lenses that block up to 95% of harmful UVB rays. It's the only leading brand that does. Ask your doctor for a free trial pair and see why more eyes trust AccuView.
Why would you wear anything else?
Monday, Fox invites you to enter a world of mystery and magic. Roar, premiering Monday on Fox.
Beautiful view of downtown Cleveland, Ohio. In the distance is Jacobs Field, and on the mound is the right-hander Curt Schilling. Takes over for Maddox, who went 2 innings, allowed a run on a couple of hits. The home run hit by Edgar Martinez. And the numbers for Schilling, as we've already mentioned, a lot of Indians fans in this ballpark hope to see Curt Schilling in an Indian uniform. There have been a lot of rumors. We watched Roberto Alomar dig in his first at-bat of the night. Tim, a lot of rumors about Schilling and whether he has a no-trade clause and whether he'd come here to Cleveland. 2-1.
Curt Schilling signed a 3-year deal right after spring training earlier in the season with the Philadelphia Phillies that had a no-trade clause. He says he realizes the Phillies need younger players trying to rebuild. They're already 32 games under 500 are the Phillies after the first half. He almost knows he's going to be traded, so therefore he waived the no-trade clause and will pitch for Cleveland. It was erroneously reported over the weekend that Curt Schilling said that Cleveland was not on his list. That is not true. He told me before the game that Cleveland, or any winner, he wants the World Series ring. The money's not the important thing, and I'm sure Mike Hargrove, the Cleveland manager, loves to hear that.
Well, traditionally, the trading deadline is July 31st, and traditionally it starts here at the All-Star break, goes right up to the deadline.
Alomar checks on Blauser. First chance for Jeff, and he handled it perfectly. Alomar is gone to start the bottom of the third.
Curt Schilling, a power pitcher, throws a heavy fastball. He asked the catchers around the league, what kind of heater does he throw? Some guys throw a fastball that seems to be very light and take off as it comes to the plate. Schilling throws a very heavy fastball. Will cut the ball inside on left-handers along with the slider. Very good competitor out there on the mound. Loves to win.
Here's Brady Anderson, grounded out to the right side his first time up, and takes a ball.
He is facing the guy that he was traded with to Baltimore from Boston. 7 years ago, Brady Anderson and Curt Schilling went to Baltimore for Mike Boddicker, and here both of them are at the All-Star game.
1 ball, 1 strike on Anderson, who has hit 7 home runs, and of course last year hit 50. Facing Curt Schilling. Able to lay off 2 balls and a strike. Schilling made a stop in Houston, now in Philadelphia. The next stop we do not know.
Good overhead look at Brady Anderson checking that swing.
That's well hit down the left field line. Bonds won't get to it, off the wall. Anderson thinking double. He's going to test Bonds and make it with 1 out here in the third.
Even though it was a double for Anderson, a ball that he went the other way with, watch the artistry of Barry Bonds barehand the ball off the wall and throw in the same motion.
Actually had his momentum going towards the infield as he barehanded that ball.
Barry Bonds, of course, known as a very good left fielder, something not many talk about. Always gets to the ball quick. Runner at second, 1 out, and Alex Rodriguez pops 1 foul out of play off to the right.
I've had an opportunity to watch Barry Bonds in San Francisco over the years, and a very tough field to play left in Candlestick Park, or rather 3Com Park, and you can see Barry getting himself in position to make that throw. Not the strongest throwing arm in the league, but the quickest release of any left fielder in the league.
Alex Rodriguez trying to add to the American League's lead with a runner at second, 1 out. Rodriguez a base hit to right his first time up. That gets away from Piazza, and Anderson will head to third.
Well, this is a problem you're going to run into in an all-star game. When you have a pitcher and a catcher who have not worked together very much, you have a knowledge of the pitcher's stuff, but until you actually see that ball coming in to home plate, you're not quite sure how that ball is going to react. Piazza just does not get over in front of that pitch, scoots by him, and allows Anderson to advance to third base.
A couple of the unfamiliarity that Mike has with the National League pitchers, other than hitting against them, and the bad knees that he has, and that spells wild pitch.
Which it is for Schilling, and now the infield in for the play at the plate. Runner at third, 1 out. And Rodriguez takes a ball and is out in front of the count, 2-1. An extra run 90 feet away. Brady Anderson with a 1-out double. Two and two.
With Ken Griffey Jr. on deck and a ground ball to an infielder, I would think Anderson would make the ball go through and let Jr. hit and try to drive you in with 2 outs.
Play the infield in games of this sort. Try to cut down that run, but you could also open it up to a huge inning. Now 3-2 as Piazza keeps it at home plate.
Now you can see Piazza once again very awkwardly catching that pitch that was headed for the dirt. It becomes a tough situation for the pitcher, because if Schilling wants to make that pitch in the dirt, He's not quite sure if Piazza's going to be able to block it because of the unfamiliarity, and consequently, he may hang a pitch to A-Rod.
Still a full count, 95 miles per hour from Schilling.
It's tough to hang a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Although it's been done, it's a tough pitch to hang.
A look at the infielders here at Jacobs Field with Anderson at third and one out. Schilling and Piazza trying to figure out a way to get Alex Rodriguez.
Fastball away. He wanted it in. Schilling shook him off.
And Rodriguez a pretty good cut.
Kind of interesting. Piazza went inside and then told Schilling to throw the high fastball. And then Schilling shook him off with a fastball away.
In the first at bat against Greg Maddux, Alex Rodriguez got a fastball on the outside part of the plate and shot it into right field. So Mike Piazza, in a couple of very quick innings, knows that that ball has to be inside on Alex Rodriguez.
That's where that last one was. He shook off the outside fastball and came inside to Alex.
And there are very advanced scouting reports that both teams have available to them, but in an all-star game, it's a much more low-key atmosphere. You kind of just do things on the fly as it feels good out there on the field.
Thing is, the hitters read those reports, too.
Full count on Rodriguez. Indian fans waiting to get a look at Sandy Alomar Jr., who has a 30-game hitting streak alive and well. And there is Tony Womack on the left getting advice and information from Frank Robinson. It's not a bad idea. You're young Tony Womack, come here and learn a few things while you're having fun. Runner at third, one out. And strike three called over the outside corner. Rodriguez is gone.
One fastball after another to Alex Rodriguez. Piazza sitting outside. Rodriguez continuing to foul balls off. That was the fastball that got by. Continuing to foul it off. Good play by Piazza on that slider. And finally, he makes the perfect pitch.
He got it down just a little bit more. The other fastballs were up around the middle of the thighs. The last one was down around the knees.
Here's Griffey. Again, flat out to left his first time up. Runner at third, two out. Wow. Griffey unloaded on that pitch in the final voting in the Pepsi All-Star balloting update. Ken Griffey Jr. led all players with over 3.5 million votes. Looking for the two-out RBI hit and overmatched on that pitch, 93 miles per hour from Schilling.
Well, guys that throw a good four-seam high fastball, they like to throw it up higher in the strike zone. He got Alex Rodriguez on a pitch around the knees, but this time goes up the ladder on Junior. And you see the rotation on that four-seam fastball and not able to catch up.
With that one either. And Schilling strikes out both Rodriguez and Griffey with a runner at third. So the American League misses a chance. Barry Bonds will get a look at him in the fourth. 1-0 American League.
The coming of age of the adolescent grizzly bear. A strange rite of passage where they cry out for their most primal, urgent need.
Heaven help us if they ever learn the Macarena.
Pepsi, Generation Next.
Prime Star Satellite Television. That's right, 160 channels.
That's right, ma'am. 160 channels, specially grouped by category.
Sports in one group.
Movies in another group.
Of course, there's a family group. No, ma'am. Other companies make you buy the dish. With Prime Star.
There's no dish to buy.
Want to do something after our shift?
Thank you, but I've got other plans.
Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
Go where you wanna go. Leave the boundaries far behind you.
Introducing the all-new Goodyear Eagle F1 with racing-inspired dual aqua channels that sweep water away for serious traction in the wet, especially in braking. The new ultra-high-performance Goodyear Eagle F1.
Serious freedom. Goodyear, Goodyear.
Starting a small business takes a burning entrepreneurial spirit, a singular, bold vision, the courage to fight an endless uphill battle. But that's not all you need. Oh, no.
We need some furniture.
And some curtains would be nice. That's why you need the Visa business card, because Jules sells her furniture like millions of other places. Doesn't take any card from American Express.
I love these chairs. And I'm really happy with these window treatments.
What? Visa business card. It's everywhere you want to be.
From the #1 runaway bestseller comes a Fox television event.
Now that was intense.
From Dean Koontz Intensity, August 5th on Fox.
We have played 3 innings here in the All-Star game, and the American League out in front, still on the Edgar Martinez home run. Captain John Moran is at the controls of the Goodyear Spirit. 204-foot-long airship is based in Akron, Ohio, just 35 miles south of Jacobs Field. And we thank them for helping us with tonight's broadcast as we get into the 4th inning. Another pitcher for the American League, 3rd of the night, and it's David Cone.
You see the numbers on David Cone. 2nd most strikeouts in the American League this year. Very fine ERA. Back and healthy.
4th All-Star game for David, the only one to ever appear in a Midsummer Classic with both the Mets and the Yankees. Wearing the pinstripes and overmatching Barry Bonds 1-1.
You know, the great thing about the home run contest yesterday, as exciting as that was when Tino Martinez ended up beating Larry Walker in the 3rd round, a lot of guys who are notorious home run hitters were not involved in that contest. Bonds among them, Andres Galarraga. Of course, Tino Martinez was the winner.
I was surprised the Big Cat was not in there.
He had some back problems in San Francisco right before the break, and apparently isn't 100%. Didn't want to risk further injury in the home run derby because you can hurt yourself the way those big guys were swinging yesterday.
3 balls and a strike on Bonds, and that's low for a leadoff walk, so not a good start for David Cone. That'll bring in Mike Piazza. Again, we look at the final voting in the Pepsi All-Star balloting. And in the National League, the winner was Piazza with over 2.5 million votes.
You know, when the vote went back to the fans in 1970, just a little over 2 million votes were cast totally. Mike Piazza with over 2,600,000 votes. Junior with over 3.5 million.
With 1 on, nobody out. Cone again misses low, ball 1.
These teams are very even, not only offensively, pitching, defense. The one advantage that the National League team has in this game is their speed. They've stolen 90 more bases than their American League counterparts.
Yeah, for the most part, it's the speed of the National League. I guess if you had a caption to this game, the speed of the National League against the power of the American League. Not much new there. Nope.
And Bonds has 14 stolen bases on the season. Joe mentioned earlier, not a typical first half for Barry Bonds, but he's still got that speed.
And now Cone falls behind Piazza, 2 balls and a strike. On deck is Bagwell. After Bagwell, it's Walker. Trying to figure out still, as you saw a moment ago, the right way to put on that batting helmet. Bonds is running on 2-1. The pitch low, and Bonds is safe. And the tying run in scoring position, a walk and a stolen base picked up by Berry. And if you can't throw a runner out with that type of throw, you're not going to get a guy. Barry Bonds with a tremendous jump off David Cone. David with the high leg kick. Bad pitch to handle. Fine throw, but Bonds in there coming up on the tag. And on top of that, the count goes to 3-1 on Piazza. Trying to tie it with a hit, and he draws a walk. So back-to-back walks to start the fourth inning for David Cone. And we go down to the dugout. Here's Steve Lyons standing by with the Rocket Man.
All right, I got Roger Clemens down here in the American League dugout. And Roger, you lead all of baseball with 13 wins, ERA 1.69. You're looking like that Cy Young guy of 10 years ago.
Well, you know, I feel pretty fortunate. We've been battling as hard as we can. I've been on the fortunate end of some things, Stevie.
Now, tell me about the at-bat that you had with Tony Gwynn, one of the best National League hitters. Take us through that.
Well, as soon as he came up, I knew I was going to have to try and preserve that for Randy. You know, he got a 1-0 lead. I can't, you know, the guy's a pretty good contact hitter, so we shuck on a fastball situation, threw in the forkball, he pulled a foul, then we went with the backdoor slider, and Rip made a great play on it. So it's always fun. I don't know about this relieving stuff, though.
Yeah, you're not used to that. Hey, thanks a lot, Roger. Continued success. Joe, you guys, back up to you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Roger. He ended up getting Gwynn on that ground ball to Ripken. Now, the National League with their biggest threat of the night, 2 on, nobody out, and Bagwell at the plate. Ooh, borderline pitch, and Cone got the benefit of the doubt, 0-2.
We're saying Tony Gwynn is a pretty good contact hitter. It's like saying Pavarotti's not a bad crooner.
One of the 3 tenors. And there is Tony Gwynn having a seat watching Bagwell. There's ball 1 low, 1-2.
Tony can even handle the high pitch, too. Ooh. As long as you don't throw him a tuning fork.
Okay, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Bagwell with 2 on, nobody out. David Cone trying to get around back-to-back walks to Bonds and Piazza.
Inside fastball.
And into right. Back to get it, O'Neill. 1 away. Bonds with good base running will tag and go to third, and it's first and third, 1 away.
I was wrong on that. I thought Ivan Rodriguez said come inside, pointing to his left thigh. He was actually sitting away. And watch how Bagwell drives the ball where it was thrown, low and away. Hit it hard. O'Neill was there. Good base running by Bonds.
So now first and third, 1 out, and a chance for Larry Walker to face David Cone and tie it with any one of a number of things. Runner at third, the tying run, Bonds. And Rodriguez blocks it down to second. Piazza, he's in the rundown. And tagged out for the second out of the inning. Piazza, a late break, and that's a big second out for the American League.
I asked Texas manager Johnny Oates yesterday, what's the most impressive thing about Ivan Rodriguez behind the plate? And he says, obviously his arm is very strong, his feet are quick, but on plays like this, when the ball is in the dirt and blocked, he's able to make those kind of throws on the move. That was an interesting throw because Larry Walker backing up from home plate. Rodriguez actually had to throw from behind Walker. And the rundown executed beautifully. I don't think Piazza thought that Rodriguez could get to that ball in time.
Now it takes a hit, and the count goes to 2-0 on Larry Walker. Caught stealing 2-6-3 on the play.
Andre Scalaraga's nickname's the Big Cat. Well, the little cat's behind the plate right now.
Alomar. Inning over. He had to wait for Martinez to get to the bag, and David Cone gets into and out of trouble with help from Ivan Rodriguez. Bottom of the fourth, 1-0 American League.
Hello? Eddie. Hey, little brother, what's up?
Oh, Eddie, I'm not doing so good.
I don't have a clue what the coach is saying. I'm 0 for my last 14.
Johnny, you gotta open up.
What do you mean? I'm pulling the ball too much as it is.
No, you gotta open up. Have some fun. Make some friends over there. Play.
Eddie, you won't believe this.
Yeah, I should have known I wouldn't be the only one to find this car irresistible. Aurora, defy convention.
Hate the taste of Arm & Hammer toothpaste? Then try new Smooth Spearmint. Now the baking soda toothpaste that dentists recommend most has a refreshing spearmint ribbon of flavor. New Smooth Spearmint from Arm & Hammer.
I mean, I just think the baseball is way too slow.
Hey, if you worked at Wrigley Field, would you be in a hurry to leave?
Richard Roundtree heads an extraordinary ensemble cast as Fox presents the most uplifting new hour of television. 413 Hope Street, Thursdays this fall on Fox.
Martinez.
And the star of 413 Hope Street is Richard Roundtree. The stars are out on the field and watching. To his right is Andre Whitfield of Between Brothers. On his left is Stevie Barrett. 413 Hope Street as Curt Schilling goes back to work. Bottom of the fourth inning, Javier Lopez takes over behind the plate. We have had our first substitution of a position player. 2-0 now on Tino Martinez, who nearly hit a home run in his first at-bat when just fouled. He grounded out to second. Edgar Martinez will follow, and then Paul O'Neill are of the order for the American League. 2 balls, 2 strikes in the hit zone on Tino Martinez, who has been on fire the first half of the season.
Red hot on that ball, up and out over the plate. I'll tell you what's hard to believe about the year that Tino Martinez is having. That 9 months ago, he was benched during the World Series. And the Yankees beat the Braves after losing the first 2.
What a good play by Bagwell to his left, 1 out. And Jeff Bagwell, who doesn't get a lot of credit for his glove work, shows you that would be a mistake if you didn't consider him one of the best in baseball.
He is a Gold Glover on the right side, and he shows you how and why.
And it has to be very reassuring for Larry Dierker, the manager of the Houston Astros, to know that Jeff Bagwell and Craig Biggio are going to be in that lineup every day. Biggio's played 307 consecutive games, Bagwell 278 consecutive games.
And with 1 out, nobody on, here is Edgar Martinez, who homered in his first at-bat, leading off in the second against Maddox. The only run of the night. Ball, 1 strike. Martinez got into one into left field, and it shot over the wall here at Jacobs Field.
Sandy Alomar was making fun of him on the bench for getting short arms as that pitch started to bear inside on him, but that's what good hitters will do. They'll adjust their swing as that pitch approaches home plate.
Maddox went 2, and now Schilling trying to go 2. 95 miles per hour from Schilling, and missed 2-1.
One thing impressive about Martinez, he doesn't become overly enamored with his power. If he hits the inside pitch out the next time, they like to go the other way with the pitch.
Late cut there, 2-2.
That's why you rarely see Edgar Martinez get into those free fall slumps. You go 3 or 4 days, but nothing prolonged.
Still 2-2, and there's a guy that has fallen in love with his home run swing, and why not? So is everyone else around baseball.
He's not prolonged, but he certainly is long. Man, off the charts.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Martinez, and into left field. He's 2 for 2. So Edgar is on for the second time tonight as he gets Schilling, and it's 1 on, 1 out for Paul O'Neill. Talking about a guy in Edgar Martinez who in 1995 and 1996, 50 doubles each year. Here's Paul O'Neill with a runner at first, 1 out, and a big hole on the right side of the infield. Strike 1.
Schilling is not the kind of pitcher that will normally give up a lot of ground balls because he throws that high 4-seam fastball quite a bit. Gets more fly ball outs than he does ground ball outs. But O'Neill has been prone to hitting in the double play throughout his career. Has 9 on the season.
Now they play behind Martinez. He takes off, and he is gone. Javier Lopez guns down Edgar Martinez immediately after the National League changed philosophy and played behind the runner.
Play behind him properly because Martinez is not a fast runner, but he would have stolen second base had this throw not been right on the money. Fine throw by Lopez right there.
Edgar Martinez has stolen only 2 during this regular season. And he is the second out here in the bottom of the 4th.
I've seen teams try to bait a guy like Edgar Martinez, a less than swift runner at first base, into trying to steal and then pitching out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. O'Neill hit one off the foot of Maddox his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Over the outside part, inning over. 3rd strikeout for Schilling. Pitching is prevailing in Cleveland. 68 All-Star game, 1-0 American League.
The Pepsi Stuff catalog is back, and you won't believe what's inside.
I've told you 1,000 times, no playing with professional athletes in the house.
Mom, this year's Pepsi Stuff is the coolest collection ever. You can even win a chance to hang with your favorite sports star.
You role models should really know better.
Drink a lot of Pepsi, get a lot of stuff.
Hey, let's go to my house.
I'll drive. Nothing to lose. It's the funniest buddy comedy since 48 Hours.
I could be Denzel Washington. Take good luck.
Absolutely hilarious.
Don't touch the sheep. I got it, Dad. You go.
Wildly, wonderfully, outrageously funny.
Why don't you talk back? You keep on smacking me, Mama.
Nothing to lose. Rated R. Sneak previewed this Saturday.
In a time of legend, in a world of magic, a hero will fight for his people and discover his destiny. Roar premieres Monday on Fox.
The 1997 All-Star Game on Fox is brought to you by Nike, who reminds you that if you've got a problem with baseball, move to Norway. By 7-Eleven, oh thank heaven for 7-Eleven. By Miller Lite, who reminds you that anything can happen at Miller Time. And by KFC, where you can now grab a Twister, a whole new twist on eating KFC.
Welcome back to Cleveland, ready for the 5th inning. Down to comic relief, Larry Walker and Chip Carey.
All right, Joe, thanks a lot. The happiest man in the ballpark, Larry Walker. The Randy Johnson's not in the ball game anymore. What happened on that at-bat? I saw you go down on one knee. Did you think about two after the first pitch went over your head?
Well, I guess that's what would have happened if it would have hit me, but it was one of those things. Just must have slipped out of his hand. Must have had some sweat on his hand.
When did you decide to do this and turn around and bat right-handed?
Well, I just decided to put the hat on backwards right at that spur of the moment, but it was a neat experience.
Was it worth the wait, finally facing Randy Johnson?
Oh, yeah. I've waited a while for that and, regret what happened earlier in the year, and that was fun. I enjoyed it.
Folks, if you walks like that, you can chase 400 all year. Larry, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Back upstairs to you, Joe.
All right, guys, thank you very much. Here in the 5th inning, a new pitcher is Justin Thompson. Caminiti quickly in the hole, 0-2.
Justin Thompson, 8-6, part of that young Detroit pitching staff that's about 2 runs better this year than they were last year when they lost 109 games for Buddy Bell. Where was that pitch?
Evidently low, and a 1-2 count on Caminiti. Bounced into a force out to end the second. His first time up, now 2-2.
Well, this is that big sweeping breaking ball from Justin Thompson. He threw it the first pitch. He came back with a fastball on the second pitch and then tried to get strike 3. I don't know.
2-2. Well, from 0-2 to 3-2.
I'll tell you the kind of stuff that Justin Thompson has. He has struck out Ken Griffey Jr. 6 times in a row. The only pitcher to ever do that.
Hard hit to third. Rifkin with a backhand. Good throw. 1 gone. Well, we bring about the Aflac trivia question for your digestion here in the 5th inning. The only 3 players who have won 2 All-Star Game MVP awards. Who are they? Give you the Aflac trivia answer a little bit later. Think about that for a minute as Ray Lankford steps in. Ray Lankford, a guy who missed the first 17 games of the season, recuperating from shoulder surgery, which he blew out at the end of last year, rotator cuff surgery, and his left throwing shoulder. What a first half he has had. He's driven in 61 runs. After missing practically the first 3 weeks of the season, he's hit 17 home runs. He has been by far the most consistent performer in the Cardinals lineup, which has really struggled in 1997, 2-1. Breaking ball from Thompson, 2-2.
Cardinals with the best talent in the National League Central, but they have not been able to do anything with the pesky Pirates. Pittsburgh Pirates in first place as the breaking ball, the 2-1 breaking ball in there to Ray Lankford.
Lankford strikes out for the second out of the inning. And the third strikeout of the night for American League pitchers. Johnson got 2 back in the first.
Well, Justin Thompson has stuff very similar to Sean Estes, a National League pitcher from the Giants that we'll probably see later in the game. A good fastball, pretty straight, and the big sweeping breaking ball. He left that one up high, comes back with a good one, blows a fastball right by him.
And now ball 1 down and into Jeff Blauser, who has the only hit for the National League.
Ray Lankford says, I'm glad to get Randy Johnson out of the game, but that wasn't much better.
Barehanded grab by Rifkin to get him. Cal Ripken Jr. His first start as an all-star at third base. It looks like he's been playing there all of his life. Bottom of the 5th inning, halfway through it. What a play.
What if there was something that could keep your family safer? And what if it was recycled more than anything else on Earth?
You gotta be bad, you gotta be bold, you gotta be...
Wouldn't you want to have more of it around you?
You gotta be hard, you gotta be tough, you gotta be stronger. You gotta be cool, you gotta be calm.
Well, now you can. The new Steel. Feel the strength.
The baseball is juiced.
A drive to left field and deep, way back, and he made a catch.
Not juiced enough.
You know, Ben, I think we're lost.
Mr. Henry.
Oh.
Across America, more people use Cellular One than any other cellular service.
That's a good scout.
Some families get more done in a day than others do in a week. They're the first to do anything, including to say,
Hey, how's it going?
now there's a car that does as much as your supercharged family. Introducing the all-new supercharged Regal GS. No other sports sedan squeezes in this much supercharged
Fun.
power and standard safety features into your daily routine. Regal GS by Buick.
Hey, life's a blur.
The all-new Regal GS, the official car of the supercharged family.
It's the Fox Saturday game of the week. The Mets take on the Braves and the Rangers battle the Mariners. Fox Saturday baseball game of the week. Check local listings.
Into the bottom of the fifth inning, halfway through it, and now we get a number of changes. Moises Alou will take over in right field for Larry Walker. Chipper Jones is now in the game at third base, taking over for the starter Caminiti. Royce Clayton of the Cardinals is at short. A late addition to this roster, and on the mound is a nasty right-hander, Kevin Brown.
Boy, as bad as the left-handers do not want to face Randy Johnson, right-handers don't want anything to do with Kevin Brown. He cannot throw the baseball straight. Everything he throws is moving. Heavy sinker, hard slider, good changeup.
Long-time American leaguer in Ripken, a 1-ball, 1-strike count.
I think this Kevin Brown is one guy who really benefited from the change of leagues. Coming to the National League, more of a ground ball league. Murderous, heavy sinker, the best in the game.
Not only a ground ball league, but a league in which the umpires are more inclined to give the low strike than the American League. A 1-1 to Ripken is right back up the middle into center for a leadoff hit. And Brown will be happy to leave Cleveland with all of his teeth. This is how that ball looked from Ray Langford's angle. A rope back up the middle. And this was from Javier Lopez's angle. Look at Kevin Brown. Man, that ball smoked up the middle. And Ripken will get the hand as he is relieved here in the fifth inning. Ripken finished for the rest of the night, and in to run over at first base is Joey Cora. Not only the thrill of playing in his first All-Star game, but getting a chance to take over for Cal Ripken on the bases. Runner at first and a strike on Ivan Rodriguez. By the way, there's been a scoring change. There was no caught stealing when Piazza was out back in the fourth inning, just a put-out trying to advance. For those of you scoring at home, and a reminder, never score an All-Star game in ink. As we are finding out as we go along here this evening. Two old battery mates facing one another, Ivan Rodriguez, Kevin Brown. And a 1-ball, 1-strike count on Rodriguez. And Rodriguez, in situations like this, very adept at going the other way, finding the hole with the first baseman Bagwell holding Cora close. Like he was trying to go to right, a little late, strike two. You ever buy into that theory that because you caught a guy, you stand a better chance at the plate trying to hit him? I think you have a better idea, but a nasty sinker. Make pitches like that 1-1 pitch that Brown made to Rodriguez. I don't care how much you know about a pitcher. you're not going to hit it.
He could tell you it's coming, you still wouldn't hit it.
Absolutely. That's right. Two and two from catcher Cam, and a foul straight back. Catcher Cam on the mask of Javier Lopez. And of course, all of us at Fox Sports want to thank not only the catchers for agreeing to wear the cameras on their masks, and every catcher has agreed to do it, by the way, but Major League Baseball and the Players Association, all the help that they gave us in coercing these catchers into wearing the camera. 3 balls, 2 strikes now, a full count on Rodriguez, and I'm sitting next to 2 former big league catchers, and gives you a very interesting view. We'll try to give you an idea about where that camera is. There it is right there, right there. This is the battery, and the little antenna shoots out from the camera. Rodriguez grounds out. The American League started the runner. Cora was going with a count of 3-2 on Rodriguez. And because of that, the American Leaguers stay out of the double play. Biggio took care of it, 1 out, as Rodriguez rounded out 4-3. Our Aflac Trivia answer: only 3 players have won 2 All-Star Game MVP awards. They are Willie Mays in '63 and '68, Steve Garvey in the '70s, and Gary Carter in the early '80s, '81 and '84. Matter of fact, Gary Carter won his first MVP here in Cleveland the last time the All-Star Game was played here after the 52-day player strike, 1981. Roberto Alomar at the plate with a runner at second, 1 out. And this one gets away from Lopez, so Cora scoots over to third with only 1 down. First one, the ball that got away from Mike Piazza, scored a wild pitch. This could be scored, a pass ball, but Bob, as you were saying earlier, you don't really realize the movement of a guy like Kevin Brown until you catch him. You can hit against him, but catching him's a whole different thing. It is a passed ball, by the way, that gets away from Lopez, and a big one. Makes the RBI chance easier for Alomar with the infield in, runner at third, 1 out. One and 2.
It's particularly tough on the catchers because you're seeing such a variety of different pitchers as well, and different styles. Schilling, we mentioned, the 4-seam straight fastball. Now Brown comes in throwing the nasty sinker. Good play by Brown on the comebacker. Alomar grounds out 1-3. And that's the second out of the inning, as now each side is scoring opportunities with runners in scoring position and less than 2 out. A lot of ground balls when Kevin Brown's on the mound. Even though that sinker was up around the letters, the movement on the ball was back down, causing Roberto Alomar to hit the top half of the ball and tap it back to the mound.
Brown gave a look at Cora. He's at third, 2 out now for Brady Anderson. Ball 1. Brady has doubled. Hit that in the third. He grounded out to second. Start the night offensively for the American League.
You might have noticed the number 24 on Brady Anderson's helmet. If I'm not mistaken, that's a tribute to Eric Davis, teammate who's battling cancer. To send his respects along.
Not only on the helmet of Brady Anderson, but it was on the helmet of Roberto Alomar to let their teammate know that they're thinking about him on a night such as this. What a start Eric Davis got off to. First year with the Orioles. That caught the outside corner borderline. And the count goes to 3-1. And Anderson shoots one to left. Barry Bonds is waiting for it.
inning over. A leadoff hit, later a passed ball, and a runner left standing at third. Tony Gwynn coming up. He's the DH. After 5, 1-0 American League.
Air Force One clear for takeoff.
Mr. President, welcome aboard, sir.
How the hell did they get Air Force One?
On July 25th,
President of the United States.
the time to negotiate is over.
This president is a Medal of Honor winner.
He knows how to fight.
I would like to ask all Americans to pray for the safety of everyone on board Air Force One.
Harrison Ford.
Get off my plane.
Air Force One. Rated R. Opens everywhere July 25th.
Well, you've got to say it's a great day for a ball game today. The fans are already into it. We've got a fantastic crowd on hand. These two teams, the fans, everybody has been pointing towards this game, and things are just about ready to get underway.
Thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Try the new Burger Big Bite, a fresh grilled quarter-pound all-beef hamburger that's easy to eat.
Is it magic? Can you feel it? What time is it?
Smell time.
Body's on.
The jam is on.
The Miller Lite Music Event of 97. Catch it.
In the Zone.
I got it.
The baseball show for the Fox generation.
Best game in the world. There were times when I was younger when I actually slept with my bat.
See what baseball's biggest stars are doing away from the plate.
Time to go to work. Let's do it.
We'll give you the inside pitch.
What am I talking about?
Never, ever blow a bubble in your mask.
We'll take you into the hot corner.
As long as you love your gloves, I repair them. And enjoy every second of it.
We make your baseball fantasies come true.
How are you? I'm Alex. Nice to meet you. Can you imagine playing an All-Star game?
Be awesome.
Will you be a little nervous? Here's for you, buddy.
Oh, thank you.
In the Zone. Saturdays at 12:30. Check local listings.
Well, there is Thomas Leskitska from Parma Heights, Ohio. Thomas got to realize his baseball fantasy by winning a contest held by Major League Baseball and In the Zone. The gang at In the Zone fulfills a new baseball fantasy every show. You can watch this Saturday to see more of Thomas's excellent adventure at the All-Star Game, and you can catch In the Zone every Saturday at 12:30 Eastern throughout the baseball season, right before baseball. Check your local listings for the time in your area. Thomas Leskitska. Here is Pat Henkin, who takes over on the mound, but the big hand, unfortunately, is not for Pat.
For his battery mate, Sandy Alomar, who was in there as the catcher. Pat Henkin, last year's Cy Young Award winner in the American League.
A number of changes again as we get to work in the 6th inning. 1-0, the American League out in front. And as Henkin takes over on the mound, he has almost an entirely new defense behind him. Bernie Williams will take over in left field. Griffey stays in center. Brady Anderson goes from left to right. Now it's Jeff Cirillo from the Brewers at third with Rodriguez and Cora up the middle. McGuire is in at first base. Alomar is catching, and Henkin is on the mound. 6th inning and still 1-0 American League. And last year's Cy Young Award winner brings it to Biggio, ball 1. Leadoff hitter in the National League's lineup is 0 for 2. He struck out, he's grounded out. Craig pops it up to the right side for McGuire. One away here in the top of the 6th inning, and let's go down to the field to the dugout and check in with Steve Lyons.
All right, Cal Ripken's over here counting the number of All-Star games he's played in. It's 15. Normally as a shortstop, great instincts as a third baseman. Take me through that barehanded play you made.
Well, I was playing a little bit deeper than maybe I should have, and I came in, and I thought my only chance was to get in my position to throw the ball, which a bare hand allows you to get in position to throw the ball to first base. It was a risky play, but it worked out.
Now, last year coming into this ball game, you guys were 6 back. This year, you're 7 up. Aside from an improved defensive infield, what are the differences in your ball club between this club and last?
I think that's really easy to answer. In my opinion, the difference is our pitching. The pitching has carried us all the way in the first half. Without looking at the statistics, I think that our pitching has to be the best in the league. And when your pitching's the best in the league, you got a good chance to be in first place.
All right, Cal, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Charlie, guys, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Cal. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tony Gwynn. Fouled the first pitch away, now took a ball. 394 is the average during the regular season. A little past the midway point, and Gwynn grounds to the right side for Cora. Just into the game to his left. Great play. Got it. He may have been wide-eyed coming in, but he is ready to play and took a hit away from Gwynn.
Terrific play on both ends by Cora and McGuire. Yeah, McGuire's defensive prowess at first base gets overlooked a lot of times. Very adept at picking balls out of the dirt just like this. Joey Cora's momentum taking him down towards that right field corner.
So 2 out, nobody on for the National League, and now Bond shoots one into left field for Bernie Williams. Just into the game, and a quick and easy 1-2-3 inning for Henkin. Bottom of the 6th inning, American Leaguers bat. They lead by 1.
You know, baseball it's just dead.
Hey, if baseball can survive those old Astro uniforms, it can survive anything.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
All that you can be.
I don't shower before work. I email over oatmeal. I take conference calls in my pajamas. Just take a look at the area that I'm highlighting. There. That works. I document conference, I page, I fax, I work out. I get tons done. I still don't shower. I pray we never ever get video conferencing.
Snapper's great more for 40 deal. Buy any new Snapper ride-on mower and get a utility trailer for under 40 bucks. Buy any new Snapper rear-engine rider, tractor, or yard cruiser and get this handy utility trailer with a removable tailgate and dump action. You get more hauling, more dumping, more flexibility for under 40 bucks. So hook up with our utility trailer deal and get more for 40.
Snapper. Anything less just won't cut it. See your local Snapper dealer today.
Newsweek magazine raves Men in Black is the coolest, funniest movie of the summer.
This party just getting started.
Rolling Stone magazine calls it this season's #1 joyride. Men in Black, rated PG-13, now playing in theaters everywhere.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
Experience an epic adventure unlike anything else on television. Go! Hear the roar. Premieres Monday at 9, 8 Central on Fox.
Bottom of the 6th inning, the American Leaguers will come to bat, and a couple of changes for the National League as Steve Finley, a late addition to the roster, takes over in left for Barry Bonds. He of the Padres, and Tony Womack, the only representative from the Pittsburgh Pirates, is in at second. And on the mound is another guy. But if you don't know much about him now, be aware of just how good Pedro Martinez is, a 10-game winner with that ERA of 1.74.
And 7 complete games. Just like his counterpart, Pat Henkin, he also has 7 complete games.
Bonds has the rest of the night off. Gwynn is the DH, so we'll have to wait and see there. For the most part, all of the changes in the lineup have been straight up. Alex Rodriguez is first up, with Griffey and McGuire to follow. Big inning here for Martinez. Good breaking ball, 0-2.
kind of a version of the rally cap, or just style?
National League rally cap. Maybe they're emulating Larry Walker.
0-2 the count. Breaking ball, and Rodriguez looked bad on that pitch. Pedro Martinez broke one off and gets his first strikeout.
Well, Martinez has a very good fastball, but when he throws that hard slider, the rotation is so tight, it's tough for a hitter to pick up that rotation, and by the time you do, the pitch has moved down and out over the outside corner.
Yeah, the breaking ball Martinez uses to right-handers, and he has the best changeup to left-handers in the National League. So changeups to left-handers, sliders to right-handers.
Now Junior looks at a ball up and away from Martinez. Ken has hit 30 home runs. There's the good changeup. There's a left-handed batter. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, he'll use that fastball inside on right-handers and left-handers. He got a reputation early in his career as a headhunter and has used it to his advantage because he has very good control at this stage of his career. As you mentioned, Tim, really 2 different pitchers. Fastball slider against the right-handers, fastball changeup against the lefties.
And the 1-1 to Griffey. Off the hands, and strike 2. How about another Miller Time All-Star memory? 1980 at Dodger Stadium, Ken Griffey Sr. 5th inning, led off, hit a home run in a 4-2 win. Made him the game's MVP. And now here is Griffey Jr. And a pop-up on a changeup to the left side. Foul ball. Chipper Jones can't get there. And the count will stay 1-2.
That's an idea of how good a changeup Pedro Martinez has. When you can make Ken Griffey Jr. look this bad, watch. That's a good changeup.
Just to finish off our Miller Time All-Star memory, Junior has homered in 1992, and the Griffeys, the first father-son combo, be named MVPs of the All-Star game. 1 out, nobody on, and that's well hit into right field, but off the end of the bat for Moises Alou. 1 away. I think that 2 gone. After the strikeout of Rodriguez, another Mariner is gone. 2 up, 2 down in the 6th.
This is a pitch-by-pitch, fastballs and changeups. Martinez to Griffey. Fastball misses. Changeup, foul back. Fastball, fouled away. Changeup, fouled off. And the line drive to right field off the end of the bat.
So 2 out, nobody on, and here is McGuire. And while Griffey has 30 home runs, Mark has 31. Hitting .288, and the McGuire watch is on. 1 ball, 1 strike. People wondering if McGuire will finish out the season in Oakland with the A's, or if he will be dealt to a contending team to give them the most feared power hitter in baseball. Strike 2.
And what you cannot afford to do against Pedro Martinez is get caught in between. You have to either stay on that fastball all the way or commit to looking for that changeup.
Breaking ball. He had McGuire failing. And what an impressive first inning of work for Pedro Martinez. Still 1-0 through 6. Back to Jacobs Field after this from your local Fox station.
See the wildest, messiest, most embarrassing celebrations ever caught on tape. The world's funniest party disasters too, Wednesday on Fox.
Hey, what's on Fox 38?
Fox 38 Comedy.
Fox 38 Action.
Fox 38 Game Shows.
Fox 38 Sci-Fi.
Fox 38 Kids.
Fox 38 Sports.
Fox 38 Movies.
When you want to know what's on, ask yourself, what's on Fox 38?
Welcome to Champion Fordland, your used car superstore in downtown Scranton. Home of second chance credit, immediate delivery, and super low payments. Here's an example of some of the great deals we have just for you. Drive home in this '95 Contra for $189 a month. that's 93 Achieva for $169 a month, and for $119 a month, that's 96 Geo. So if you want a great selection, second chance credit, and super low payments, don't wait. These deals won't last. Better yet, get down to Champion Fordland in downtown Scranton today, and hurry.
You are a messenger of hope, and the only one in whom the future can be entrusted. Is it not time, then, to prepare for the journey ahead? You are a survivor. You are alone, but you are strong.
Dodge Caravan thoughtfully comes in 2 sizes. Oh, the price fits, too. During the National Dodge Sale, you'll find all kinds of great offers on Dodge Caravan, including up to $1,000 cash back to close the deal. Caravan, the new Dodge.
Hey, I'm Jennifer Love Hewitt. Watch Fox after breakfast. It's a real kick in the AM.
Well, in case you're tuning us in late, you missed 6 innings. 1-0. The American League out in front into the 7th. The Blockbuster blimp is known to be one of the fastest blimps flying. Other blimps average 35 miles per hour, but the Blockbuster blimp has been clocked at speeds exceeding 70 miles per hour, which is twice as fast as any other blimp on the block. Omar Garciaparra takes over at short. Alex Rodriguez has the rest of the night off, and here's the left-hander. He's a little surprised to get named to the All-Star team, Jose Rosado.
But he's had a very effective first half. In a lot of ways, he's very similar to Tom Glavine. He likes to work the outside part of the plate with his fastball. Best pitch is his changeup by far. He will mix in an occasional breaking ball, but very rarely will he come inside where he can be hurt by the hitter. He'll come inside off the plate to set up that outside corner.
First at bat of the night for Javi Lopez. Batting in the spot vacated by Mike Piazza, who was 0 for 1 with a walk. And the numbers for Lopez: driven home 42, hit the 14 home runs, and got a full swing there, 1-1. You know, I don't think it's any surprise that a guy like Blauser gets the first hit. Lopez steps in there the first time. He goes up there pumping, gets a good swing. These Atlanta Braves players are used to playing in the spotlight game. The nerves can't be as much of a factor for that swing. Strike 2, as it would for, say, a guy like Rosado.
The changeup is his out pitch, as we mentioned. He throws that big curveball to left-handers, a little tighter when more like a slider to right-handers. Try to run it in on their hands off the plate. But he lives on that outside corner.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and that's hit well. Is it fair? That's fair. It's gone, and we're tied. It is fair. And it's a 1-1 game in the 7th.
Changeup, one-handed, almost went over the foul pole. It missed by about 2 feet. Lopez knowing that if it's fair, it's gone. It hit the pole and bounced down. Hit about 2 feet from the top on that last rung of the foul pole.
Bagwell, little pop-up to short, caught by Garciaparra. 1 away here in the 7th inning, and they come in fast with catcher Cam, and this one left even faster.
And when you throw a changeup from the middle in, it's a pitch that a lot of hitters handle very well. A changeup on the outside part of the plate, your swing will go past the changeup as it approaches home plate. A changeup on the inside part of the plate, you will catch way out in front of home plate, and the only question was fair or foul.
And by the way, you had such a good view of that ball down the line because when the ball was hit, Sandy Alomar looked toward the line And you saw the ball ringing off the foul pole.
Here's Moises Alou. Looks at one pitch and goes to right for a base hit. And the National League, who came into this inning with only one hit, now has 2 in the inning. A leadoff home run, a 1-out hit by Alou, and the go-ahead run is on. And another Brave is Chipper Jones. First at bat of the night for Chipper, the switch-hitting third baseman. Second straight All-Star game for Chipper Jones. Strike one on Larry Wayne. And a guy who didn't cry or pout about not winning the Rookie of the Year award in 1995 when he had 23 home runs and drove in 86.
Hideo Nomo of the Dodgers was the Rookie of the Year that year.
Pretty well hit into right, but Anderson over to get it near the line. 2 gone here in the 7th inning. And standing by with Tony Gwynn is our own Chip Caray.
Tony, tough night tonight. What's going on in this All-Star thing?
Well, for me, at least in All-Star games, I get abused regularly. So, you know, I had some pretty good hacks early in the game. That last at bat, I really, you know, Hinkin got my number. And so, you know, these are the best pitchers in the world. So you tip your cap and say, hey, we'll get them next time.
Kind of tough to come 3,000 miles and get jammed a couple times.
God, that last bat was like an 8-grainer. I hated to see it go, but there's some lucky fan up in the stands who take it home as a souvenir.
I know you've been asked a million times to chase for 400. Could this be the year?
Who knows? You know, I think so, but, you know, we're going to have to wait till we get to September to find out. Right now, you know, Larry's swinging a bat good. I feel like I'm swinging a bat good, but still so much of the season left that you can't really say you can or not. You have to really wait till you get to September and see.
How about that Javier Lopez at bat? Would you critique that one for us?
Well, you know, it's funny because he hits the ball out of the ballpark and he came around all the way around the bases. It sounded like to me he said he hit a changeup. I thought it was a breaking ball. So, but you know, that's usually what happens later in the game. Guys come in, they get a chance to watch a few innings, get relaxed, and you know, he had a real good at bat, and guys are having good at bats now. So hopefully we can put some more runs on the board.
I think I'll take your word over Javier Lopez's. Tony, class act. Good luck. Thanks again for visiting.
Thank you.
Joe, back to you upstairs.
All right, Chip. Well, I guess catchers think alike. You guys called changeup.
It was a changeup, straight change. Might be the first time in Tony Gwynn's life he's been wrong about a pitch.
You can understand it with the view he had.
Yeah, right.
And home plate, a different story. 1 on, 2 out. And that missed to Ray Langford, and he's up on the count, 2 balls and a strike.
Yeah, it's not unusual for a hitter to come back to the bench, though, and not know what the pitch was that he hit for a home run. Sometimes a hitter gets so locked in, you just look for the baseball. It doesn't matter if it's straight, if it's fast, if it's slow, if it's breaking. You're locked into that baseball.
There's a good pitch from Rosado, 2-2. So Javier Lopez, in his only at-bat so far, goes deep. A leadoff home run to tie it, a 1-out hit by Alou. He's now at first with 2 out. And a 2-2 pitch from Rosado to Langford. Just missing the outside corner, and now a full count.
You might have been able to see that tape on the right hand, the throwing hand of Javi Lopez on the bench. You get a good look at that last pitch. Fastball on the outside part of the plate. But Lopez wraps the tape around the upper part of his right hand on the fingers there. It does not affect his throwing, and it allows the pitcher to see the signs much better. Sometimes the shadows in these ballparks, it's hard for pitchers to see the signs.
With Alou running on 3-2, Langford draws a walk, and that is the 4th walk handed to the National League tonight. So it's 2 on with 2 out, and we'll tell you about intensity. Dean Koontz's #1 bestseller. It's now a world premiere television event. You don't know what fear is until you experience this kind of intensity. Coming Tuesday, August 5th to Fox.
A lot of scary players in this ball game. None more scary than that book Into a Movie on Fox.
2 on, 2 out for Royce Clayton. So from one Cardinal to another, and ball 1 high from Rosado. First at bat for Royce, who was a late addition. He took over a spot left when Barry Larkin said he could not go. Blauser took his spot in the starting lineup, and now Clayton takes his roster spot. 2 on, 2 out. 2-0.
Well, a great scene down in the National League clubhouse today. Barry Larkin, you mentioned, injured, not able to play, and Royce Clayton lockering right next to each other, talking about hitting and martial arts, talking about balance and how you keep under control. You control your body. Don't get out there and get fooled by off-speed pitches.
Wax on, wax off.
Wax on, wax off. Hate the thing.
Clayton, a big rip on 2-0, now 2-1. So here's a guy who's added to the roster late. We've talked many times on our Saturday broadcast about Clayton and how he handled himself last year with Ozzie Smith and his farewell tour. Handled it better than anybody could have ever expected. And now playing every day for Tony La Russa. That's out of play, 2-2. Really is a credit to the kind of young man that Royce Clayton is. Very strong individual.
Thrust into a very tough situation. It would have been easy to say the wrong thing or do the wrong thing, but Royce kept his wits about him and just said he wanted to go out and play ball, help the team win. All those good cliches you hear, and he just went about his business.
2 men aboard for Clayton, trying to put the National League out in front. They've tied it here in the 7th. And a pretty good at bat. Stays 2-2. Alou with a 1-out hit to right, and then the 2-out walk to Ray Lankford. There's an effort. You make the effort, we'll put you on.
It worked.
Put that thing back in his pocket now.
Is that Fax or Fox?
Good question. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Clayton. Now 3-2, and Rosado's had a rough inning. Runners will go with this next pitch. Womack hoping to get his chance. He's on deck. From Johnson to Clemens to Cone to Thompson to Henkin, now Rosado. And the first run of the night for the National League. They want more. Runners go, and inning over. Clayton chased it on 3-2, and the top of the 7th inning is history. Javi Lopez went deep. He's wearing catcher cam for us, and he gave it a blast into left field, down the line, off the foul pole to tie this game at 1.
Brain freeze.
So good, it hurts. Slurpee. The coolest thing on earth.
The games last too long.
Baseball gives you a chance to sit back, relax, and forget about your problems for a few hours.
Offer does not apply to Cubs and Red Sox fans.
I mean it.
I know.
I'm not coming back. I'm serious. It's final.
Go ahead.
Across America, more people use Cellular One than any other cellular service.
No, I get to this bridge, I'm not turning around. And I mean it.
His face, a mask of courage. Who are you? His armor,
Awesome hardware.
a living weapon. His mission, a fight for justice. Back off, hero. His name, Spawn. Let's get it over with.
You've been violated, dirty man.
Spawn, rated PG-13. Starts Friday, August 1st.
Hey guys, ever wonder what a woman really thinks? We were good together, you and me. Ally McBeal, Mondays this fall on Fox.
One of the co-stars from Ally McBeal, Gil Bellows, is here with Maestro Clark. The show Rewind to his left, and Scott Baio.
Also from Rewind. At the end of the row, and the Cleveland Indian faithful are cheering as Jim Thome steps in his first at bat of the night. Batting for Edgar Martinez, and he took a ball low. One of the most likable guys in the big league. Facing the new left-hander, Sean Estes. 2-0. Mark Grace takes over at first base. Relieves Bagwell. And now Estes a record of 12-2. One of the bigger surprises in baseball this season. Up the middle, Clayton to his left, wasn't hit all that hard, one away.
I thought it was interesting how Thome found out he had made the All-Star team. He had gone to Cedar Point, an amusement park in Sandusky, Ohio, not far from Cleveland, with Matt Williams. They had taken their families to Cedar Point to ride the rides, and they called him on the cell phone while he was waiting in line to ride the roller coaster.
You got the point. He did, however, leave his number, so I think he had a pretty good idea. The last man named to either All-Star squad. And definitely someone who deserved to be named. Here's Bernie Williams. Hitting .306 and bothered by the bad hamstring this season. First at bat of the night, and he takes ball one low. Bob, you mentioned Sean Estes, one of the bigger surprises, along with the San Francisco Giants, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Sean Estes almost was an Atlanta Brave. Braves tried to make the deal. Fred McGriff for Sean Estes last winter. Sean saying yesterday it would have given him a chance to go to a winner without realizing that the Giants would have such a great year this year, and certainly one of the big surprises in baseball, 6 games ahead in the National League West. 1-1 to Williams, misses, 2 balls and a strike. Dusty Baker has done a terrific job at San Francisco Giants ball club. Sean Estes, as big a reason why they are sitting 6 games up in the NL West as anyone on that team. Late cut, 2-2.
Well, Dusty Baker will tell you he likes the kind of guys who have been cast off or downplayed for some reason or other and give them a chance to resurrect their careers. And Sean Estes was one of those guys. He was acquired in a trade with the Seattle Mariners for Solomon Torres, a prospect with the Giants who never seemed to reach his potential. The Mariners felt the same way about Estes. Now Sean Estes finds himself pitching in the All-Star game.
Two to Williams. Wouldn't bite, full count with 1 out, nobody on. Dusty Baker likes those cast-offs. You can say the same for Philippe Alou up in Montreal. He tends to end up with the same players. There's Dusty Baker on the right. Very proud of Sean Estes, who pitches here in his first All-Star game. And the ultimate of irony, Solomon Torres has been with the Expos this year. Did not work out up in Seattle. One out, nobody on, and the 3-2 to Bernie Williams. Just low for a 1-out walk. In a 1-1 game here in the 7th inning, a 1-out walk delivered by Estes. And our game summary is brought to you by 7-Eleven. And the battle between Larry Walker and Randy Johnson ended up in a walk with some comedy mixed in. Edgar Martinez hit a solo shot in the 2nd. Jeff Blauser had the only hit and was the only starter with a hit until the 7th inning, when the Lopez home run tied it. Later a hit by Alou, and the National League stranded 2 in the inning. They've left 5. Here's Cora. First at bat of the night for Joey Cora. Giving the Mariners exactly what they need at the top of their lineup. He shoots one into left center field. Back near the wall is Finley. Williams will tag but not advance. 2 out in the inning. Little Joey Cora just got under it. And with 1 on, 2 out. Here's the second out of the inning.
Joey Cora not known for his power. Just got under that a little bit. Otherwise, he would have had that ball into the left field seats. If you could will it out of the ballpark, it would be in the seats right now.
And a big round of applause for Sandy Alomar Jr. He has a 30-game hitting streak alive and well. And he takes a ball just outside from Estes.
Only one other catcher in Major League history has hit consecutively in more games. That was Benito Santiago back in 1987.
1 on, 2 out. Alomar leading the league in hitting a 1-ball, 1-strike count as rain starts to fall here in the 7th inning. There's the streak, Sandy Alomar. The next man on the list is the top man on the list. Santiago is a rookie in 87. The hitting streak started over a month ago. Extended, by the way, on Sunday with an infield hit in his first at bat. There's strike 2.
And Sandy Alomar's hot zone right now is red hot. It's all red. It goes from simply red to just hot to sizzling.
And remember, for all of you meteorologists out there, the deeper the red, the hotter the hitter. And here is Alomar with 1 on, 2 outs, backed up at a ball and 2 strikes. That gets away from Lopez, and the go-ahead run down to second with 2 out. Lopez has been handcuffed a couple of times, Bob.
Well, Sean Estes has a good fastball, but his best pitch and the toughest pitch for a catcher to handle is that big sweeping breaking ball, and Estes hangs on just a little bit too long. And the mask hit the ground there.
That wasn't Javi, right?
I hope not.
No, he got rid of the mask. And the camera. 1 on, 2 out. Go ahead run at second for Alomar. Center field, hometown hero, goodbye. Down and out over the plate. Watch where this pitch is.
Another look at it, a breaking ball from Estes, out over the plate and down, as Timmy said. Allows Sandy Alomar to get full extension, and the fans love it here in Cleveland.
With a chant of MVP, few pay attention to the at-bat by Jeff Cirillo, including Sandy Alomar Jr. What a season, 1997 for Sandy Alomar Jr. 2 balls and a strike on Cirillo. What did his teammates think of the go-ahead home run?
Well, you can see Joey Cora jump up first. He said, that's what I meant to do.
Alomar did it. It's 3-1 American League and a 3-1 count on Jeff Cirillo.
You know, it's interesting. I ran into Sandy Alomar in the tunnel right before the ball game tonight, and I wished him best wishes in the ball game, and he said, hey, I just hope to get in the game. Pudge Rodriguez is such a great catcher. I just hope to get in the game.
A strike and a full count on Cirillo. I guess this is the night of back rubs. He goes over and sits down, and his manager, Mike Hargrove, gives him a back rub.
And Mike Hargrove's telling him, don't forget how you did that.
Thursday in Minnesota.
Still 3-2 on Cirillo. We talked about it on Saturday. Sandy Alomar Jr. pulling a muscle, his stomach or rib cage area. Did not want to go on the disabled list yet again. It's cut down his swing, and here he is leading the league in hitting. Inning over, but not before major damage. Sandy Alomar does it. After 7, 3-1 American League.
Like a... Hey, when are you gonna buy a new truck and sell me this one? You know you deserve a new truck, man. Oh, come on, man. You know, I've been asking you for years. How much you want for it? You know, ballpark, what do you think? I mean, you gonna keep it forever? Come on. Right.
Chevy, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road.
I think I might have someone who can take it off your hands for you.
Really?
Hey, you want some pizza?
No, I don't want pizza. I'm driving.
Gee, I dropped my fries.
Hey, you're messing up my car.
Whoops, drop the ketchup.
Oh, great.
Everybody needs a little KFC. Now you can try the new Bacon Ranch Twister, plus a Pepsi, just $2.99.
Sea turtles. They bury their eggs in some tropical beach. When the eggs hatch, the babies find their way to the water and across miles of ocean. Now, we also have this built-in sense of direction when we're in our own shells.
Cairn, the car navigation system from Phillips Magnavox. It shows exactly how to get to where you want to go.
Man has finally caught up with nature.
Hon, could you get me some aspirin?
Greg, you're taking aspirin every day for your heart now.
Right.
Didn't your doctor say to take Tylenol for your pain?
Yeah, taking even more aspirin might irritate my stomach, huh?
That's what he said. Aspirin for your heart?
And Tylenol for my pain.
For patients on aspirin heart therapy, Tylenol is the pain reliever doctors recommend most for aches and pains.
I'm glad you're looking out for me.
Well, you still have a few miles left in you.
How do you stop a cold-blooded killer who's not afraid to die? From the #1 runaway bestseller by Dean Koontz, Intensity begins August 5th on Fox.
Welcome back to the 8th inning here in Cleveland with the American League out in front 3-1. Action and adventure are alive and well on Fox this summer while the other networks are showing reruns. You'll experience the passion, magic, and the mystery of Roar. An epic new series premiering this Monday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central here on Fox. 2 changes as we get to the 8th. Chuck Knobloch, one of the best defensively in the business at second base, takes over from the Minnesota Twins, and not a bad setup guy, Randy Myers, to pitch the 8th.
Well, the American League carrying 2 relievers on their roster. The National League only 1, Rod Beck. Randy Myers is one of the relievers on the American League club, along with Mariano Rivera. Randy Myers' numbers on the season: fastball, forkball, occasional slider to a left-hander, maybe a hand grenade once in a while.
He likes to keep those hanging around in his locker. Randy Myers is not all there, and he'll be the first to tell you. Here's Tony Womack leading off in the 8th inning, so his first at bat is to face the left-hander Myers. Quickly a 0-2 count on Womack. Leading off Fan wouldn't chase. 1-2. Roberto Alomar on your left. Sandy Alomar, the hero right now behind the plate, and a 2-2 count on Womack.
You might have noticed that black ribbon on the uniform of Roberto Alomar. There's also one on Sandy Alomar's uniform. That's to pay respect to their grandmother, who passed away recently at the age of 96 years old, Tony Velasquez. He said she'll be watching from upstairs.
And what Randy Myers doesn't want to watch now is Tony Womack get on first base. He had 30 straight stolen bases until last week.
Count stays full, 3-2. And the report on Randy Myers, the hard-throwing left-hander.
And because of that, the chances of Womack pulling the ball are almost nil. He'll hit it to left.
See? Able to pull it to the right side, and Knobloch makes the play. One away. That'll bring in Galarraga, who's now the DH, and another Miller Time All-Star memory. The scene is Tiger Stadium for the 1971 All-Star Game. The AL trailing 3-0 until Oakland's Reggie Jackson hit this 520-foot home run that struck the light tower atop the right center roof off the Pirates' Doc Ellis. The AL came from behind to win 6-4, and that ended an 11-year All-Star Game drought. Here's Galarraga, the DH, hitting .323 and 84 RBIs. Quickly an 0-2 count.
Earlier this season down at Pro Player Stadium in Miami, on May 31st in the 4th inning against Kevin Brown, Andres Galarraga 529 feet into the very top deck, leading the Rockies to an 8-4 victory.
But here, a little off balance and a punch out for Randy Myers, 2 gone here in the 8th inning.
That's the one thing that has made Randy Myers much more difficult this year than in past years. Control of the changeup. For 8 years, all he threw was fastball slider. And with Ray Miller as the pitching coach and doing such a remarkable job, that changeup has served him well this year.
2 out, nobody on for Finley. And all of this, you would imagine, in an effort to set up Mariano Rivera. So a bleak picture for the National League, the final 2 innings. Myers has gone through the first 2 here in the 8th and now gets the pleasure of dealing with a left-hander. Strike 2. Talking about a guy in Randy Myers who has had a wonderful career, 30 or more saves for 5 different teams. Cincinnati, the Mets, San Diego, Chicago, and of course the Orioles. 1-2 on Finley.
He was part of that nasty boys bullpen in Cincinnati along with Rob Dibble and Norm Charlton. It's quite a weapon for a manager to have 3 closers coming out of your bullpen.
Ball and 2 strikes, and Finley wouldn't chase it.
All that Cincinnati team did was sweep the highly favored Oakland Athletics in the 1990 World Series.
2-2. Finley stays alive, and when you talk last year about the New York Yankees, Joe Torre will tell you it was a 6-inning game. The opposition wasn't ahead after 6 innings. Mariano Rivera for 2 innings. John Wetland to save it in the 9th inning. Here's Mariano Rivera getting ready to save it for the American League, and of all people, Jose Rosado, who's given up the only run tonight. Myers strikes out Finley over the outside corner. We go into the bottom of the 8th inning. Griffey will bat. American League out in front by 2.
I'll tell you, baseball games are too long.
Strike 2 pitch to Griffey.
We are tied!
Just tied this game at 2-2.
It just continues!
Sorry.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking, and ooh, Aikman's down.
He had a man wide open. What was this guy thinking?
Brute, it's all part of the game.
All right, guys. Same play.
What do you call it when a band that sells out arenas months in advance does a surprise show in a tiny little club? The MGD blind date. Small clubs, large bands, big mystery. Listen to your radio to win.
Chevy Venture gives you flip and fold seats, because you never know when a little extra room is going to come in handy. All new Chevy Venture is here. Let's go.
See it. Feel it. Hear it.
Go!
Roar. Premiering Monday on Fox.
The 1997 All-Star Game on Fox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft, who reminds you it's time for a good old macro brew. By Chevrolet Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. By Pepsi, who invites you to join Generation Next. And by 7-Eleven. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
Well, with the rain lightly falling here in Cleveland, a couple of changes for the National League as Charles Johnson, as good a defensive catcher as there is in baseball, takes over behind the plate, and he catches the right-hander, Bobby Jones.
Bobby Jones, 12-5 on the year. That's incorrect. He's not 12-2. 3.08 ERA.
And a grounder to first, picked up by Grace, but a foul ball. So Brady Anderson will come back to the plate. Grace tried to get to it before it hopped foul, but it's strike two.
Guys, the only regular player that has not played for either side is Albert Bell, and I think that's more than a coincidence. Albert Bell was soundly booed when he was introduced tonight. You may remember the incident when things were thrown at him. He gave the salute to the fans. He was fined $50,000, and I think Joe Torre is keeping Albert Bell out of this ball game. I don't think he wants him to be roundly booed like he was when he was introduced earlier tonight.
Ball and 2 strikes. Brady Anderson leading off. And, ooh, that barely missed. 2-2. And I guess with Albert Bell, it's obvious by now you're dealing with a wild card. And as you see, the only one left on that bench, there's no telling how Albert might react.
Right.
In response to how the fans might react. And because this is the All-Star Game, and because this is a celebration of the game of baseball, maybe Joe Torre, and it's pure speculation, doesn't want to take the risk.
Yep.
But he is the only one left. And our cameras cannot find him on the bench if you want to read anything into that. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, I don't think there was any doubt about what kind of reaction he was going to get back here at Cleveland. For that fact alone, if you're not going to put him in the game because you're fearful of what it will do to this joyous celebration of the game, then you probably shouldn't have picked him for the team in the first place.
Have a point, being that it's here in Cleveland.
Still 2-2 on Brady Anderson. Bobby Jones had as good a start any pitcher in baseball this year, maybe with the exception of Roger Clemens. But as surprising a start as anybody. Backing out of play, and Tim, you get a chance to watch those Mets, and while before last year we heard of those top 3 guys, Wilson, Pulsifer, and Isringhausen. Joe McIlvaine on your right, the general manager of the Mets, has to be thrilled to death with what he's getting out of Bobby Jones and others.
Out of that 25-man roster, Bobby Valentine, one of the more underrated jobs in baseball that he has done with the Mets over the first half of the season. They're only 2 games behind the Florida Marlins in the wild card race in the National League.
Good at bat here by Anderson from 0-2 to 3-2. And a base hit to left field. Brady Anderson is 2 out of 4. He's doubled and now singled, and a good start to the 8th inning for the American League.
Well, the more pitches you see in at bat, the better chance you have of getting a base hit, I feel. And Brady Anderson fouled off some tough pitches. He took some tough pitches, got a breaking ball up and out over the plate, and just shot it through that hole on the left side.
And here is Nomar Garciaparra, the rookie shortstop for the Boston Red Sox. Up there hacking away. He won the rookie home run derby here yesterday. Got in the main home run derby. Did not go deep with the other veterans. The Red Sox director of scouting, Wayne Britton, held his breath when Garciaparra of Georgia Tech fell down to the number 12 spot. Boy, did he make a good selection with Garciaparra in that 12th position. Here he is, a rookie in the All-Star game. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Reminds a lot of people of a former Red Sox shortstop, Rico Petrocelli, a shortstop that also hit for power. Has that little idiosyncratic thing he does with his batting clubs. After every pitch, he steps out of the box and does the little routine.
2 balls and a strike. Anderson running, and he'll have to come back now. 2-2. It's funny, he talked to Joe Torre before the game yesterday. He said, I'm probably not even going to have any signs. If guys want to run, if guys want to hit behind runners, if guys want to lay a bunt down, well, fine. It's up to them. And the worst thing I could do, what did he tell you, Tim?
He said tonight before the game that the only way he could mess this game up is if he managed. Typical Torre humor.
1 on, nobody out, and Garciaparra to third for Chipper Jones. They'll get the force, and that's it, 5-4. So now 1 on, 1 out here in the bottom of the 8th inning with the American League out in front by 2. And we remind you that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. And while I read that, makes me think of a comment you made the other day, Tim McCarver, about potential commissioners of Major League Baseball, and a wonderful choice that I've never heard. We just had him on camera, Joe Torre.
Well, it is a very interesting thought. Of course, right now, Joe Torre can't take the cut to entertain the notion of being the Commissioner of Baseball.
Might be a little less hectic, however.
Right.
Strike 2 on Griffey. Bud Selig is under the umbrella. And you can say what you want about Bud Selig, and a lot of people have said a lot of things about Bud Selig, fair and unfair. But a lot of things that he has tried to do have worked and worked well, interleague play being one of them. Interleague play would not have happened without Bud Selig's approval and without him driving it to happen. And this year, I think it's blatantly obvious that the fans of baseball have enjoyed it. Griffey strikes out as Jones gets him on a pitch low and away, 2 gone. A lot of things under the watch of Bud Selig. Revenue sharing, which a lot of people thought would never, ever be agreed to by the owners.
And the cost of that was the obliteration of the latter part of the '94 season and postseason play as the players went on strike into the '95 season. And baseball just recovering from that debacle of the mid-'90s.
1 on, 2 out, and McGuire at the plate. Strike 2. Bobby Jones able to get a fastball by Mark, who is 0 for 1 with a strikeout. He's set up again. 6th pitcher of the night for the National League. He barely missed, 1 and 2. Don't forget that immediately following the game, join us for complete post-game coverage on your local Fox Sports Net affiliate. McGuire wouldn't chase, 2 and 2. A leadoff hit by Brady Anderson. Force out, hit into by Garciaparra. Griffey struck out. Garciaparra at first, 2 out. And the 2-2 to McGuire. 2 quick ones, now 3 and 2.
One thing Bobby Jones does not want to do here is give in to McGuire down. Mark McGuire is one of those devastating low ball hitters in the game.
Runner will go, and he got him. McGuire is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts, and we head into the 9th inning. Last chance for the National League. They'll face Rivera, 3-1 American League.
Bob, Joe Gaddy. Yeah, I think somebody better make sure that Walt's in the loop on this. Walt, Joe Gaddy. Just spoke to Bob. Yeah, I want you to know where we are. Hello, Leo. Joe. Joe Gaddy.
Across America, more people use Cellular One for more different reasons than any other cellular service.
Hello, Phyllis. Joe Gaddy. I want to remind you the meeting with Bob and Walt is Tuesday. Yep.
Okay, Dad, you can use the phone now.
Oh, okay. Thanks, honey. No, not you, Phyllis. No.
Well, you've got to say it's a great day for a ball game today. The fans are already into it.
Hot dog. Hot dog. Get your hot dog here, sir. Get your hot dog.
Get your ice cold drink. Refreshing ice cold drink.
This game, and things are just about ready to get underway.
Thank heaven for 7-Eleven. Thank heaven.
Where you wanna go, find the road you've never taken.
This is the tire that changed driving forever. The all-season Goodyear AquaTread with the advanced deep groove aqua channel that sweeps water away for serious traction in the wet, especially in braking. Goodyear AquaTread.
Serious freedom. Goodyear.
Hey, Carl, you're a smart guy, right?
Yeah, well...
Nice family.
Good job.
Beautiful, huh?
So?
Did you not just buy a set of golf clubs off the internet?
And did you not just pay for said golf clubs with your credit card?
So? Are you crazy?
Thanks.
Hackers.
Cyber thieves.
Consequences.
Grave consequences.
Your life may be ruined.
By the time you get home.
Click, like that?
Mm-hmm. It's safe.
How do you know?
I know.
IBM is making it safer to buy things over the web.
From the director and producer of Independence Day comes The Visitor. Fridays this fall on Fox.
We are ready for the ninth inning. The National League coming to bat down by 2. We introduced Catcher Cam here tonight, and by the way, our heartfelt thanks to Jerry Gepner, Jerry Steinberg for all the work that they did perfecting that. It really worked out well. Not to say that the project didn't start slowly.
This was the prototype that we tried to get Mike Piazza and Pudge Rodriguez and the rest of the guys to use, but for some reason they didn't want anything to do with this one. So thanks to the people in engineering for coming up with such a great device, giving us all those great shots tonight.
That would have been a little awkward, don't you think, Robert?
Just a bit. Here's Mariano Rivera. Takes over in the ninth inning, trying to save it. 3-1, the American League out in front, and the numbers for Rivera. Some wondered if he could indeed become a big league closer after setting up last year. Well, he's done that about as well as you can. 0-2 quickly on Charles Johnson, first at bat. Took over the spot vacated by Todd Hundley, who's got a bad elbow. Barely missed. 1-2 from Rivera.
Charles Johnson was at Shea Stadium on Sunday. He had planned to go to Bermuda with his wife. She went to LaGuardia Airport, called back, and she had some tickets to leave, and the traveling secretary of the Marlins said, "You and your husband are going to Cleveland for the All-Star game." So the happy Johnsons are here. Not too happy now after facing Rivera.
So they missed a trip. Charles Johnson comes to Cleveland, and he strikes out in his only at bat in the ninth inning. National League down to their final 2 outs. And the batter will be Mark Grace. He gets his first at bat. Strike 1. And for all of those National Leaguers who have heard tell of Mariano Rivera, here's your chance, and I hope that Mark brought another bat with him to Cleveland.
Well, there's Cora Cam. Camcorder. He's going to take home some of his own memories of this All-Star game.
By the way, a very good first inning of work for Randy Myers. Perfect with 2 strikeouts. To the right side, McGuire. Quickly, 2 up, 2 down. And we need to show you our Red Lobster catch of the day. Tim talked about it. You'll watch Alomar look to second, think better of it,
and get the out at first as he got Biggio way back in the third inning. And that is our Red Lobster catch of the day. 2 out, nothing shaking for the National League. They right now have a 3-game winning streak in jeopardy. Moises Alou is the last hope for the National League. He is 1 for 1. Producer of tonight's game, John Filippelli. The director, Billy Webb. Ed Gorin, executive producer of Fox Sports, David Hill. Scott Ackerson produced the pregame show. Bill Brown, the senior producer with Fox Sports. Lance Garrett, Kathy Hunt, Carol Langley, Steve Horn, Barry Landis. Thanks to one and all who helped bring the 68th All-Star game to you. 2 balls and a strike with 2 out, nobody on here in the 9th inning. National League batting and down by 2. Two balls, 2 strikes, a 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Mariano Rivera. And the crowd here at Jacobs Field hoping that there's only 1 pitch left. Ball game. The American League wins it 3-1. And who did it? Sandy Alomar Jr. Winning pitcher Rosado, losing pitcher Estes, and the save for Rivera. Fitting to have a shot of Sandy Alomar Jr. for that chest protector. As we tell you that at the end of tonight's game, we'll all be back to select the Chevrolet player of the game. Joe Torre, his first job as manager in the All-Star game. He's a winner. The American League wins it 3-1. Back in a minute.
Braving high seas, we haul in the catch for lobster and shrimp, all made from scratch. As your order comes in, we start on your dish. The lobster is broiled, the shrimps as you wish. And all of this freshness and cooking to taste is all for a dinner set down at your place. Lobster and shrimp, just $11.99 at Red Lobster. Prepared so fresh, you can taste it.
When we decided to have a baby, we knew we had to stop smoking first.
We had the motivation. We needed the help.
We chose Nicorette gum because it was flexible. Gave us the choice of 2 strengths, one for light smokers, me.
One for heavy smokers, me.
And the power to decide, how much to use and when to use it to fight our cravings.
We've been officially smoke-free for a year now.
And in gratitude, we're thinking of calling the baby Nicorette. It's a joke, honey.
Nicorette gum will help you quit smoking successfully by helping you control your cravings. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
Television can be very confusing. Sports channels next to cartoon channels, next to cooking programs. It's all jumbled together. Wouldn't it be great if somebody organized it all? Well, PrimeStar has. We added more new channels. There's 160 in all. Then we specially grouped them by category, so it's easy to find what you want. And with PrimeStar, you don't have to buy the dish. Call 1-800-PRIME-STAR or visit your local Radio Shack.
A world you've never seen. Adventure you've never known. A hero you'll never forget. Roar premieres Monday at 9, 8 Central.
Welcome back to Cleveland, where the American League wins it 3-1. And tonight's genuine Chevrolet player of the game, in the 1997 All-Star Game MVP, is Sandy Alomar Jr. This swing did it for the American League. They win it 3-1. He's our player of the game. Let's send it down to the field and Chip Caray.
Hey, Joe Buck, thank you very much. I'm here with Sandy Alomar Jr., who is the MVP of the 1997 All-Star Game. I'm also here with the chairman of the Executive Council, Bud Selig. He's here to make the presentation.
Sandy, on behalf of Major League Baseball, it is a great pleasure to present the Most Valuable Player Award for the 1997 All-Star Game. Your two-run home run was dramatic, and you've deserved it. Congratulations. It was a great ball game.
Thank you very much.
What about this night in front of the hometown crowd in Cleveland? You're the MVP of the All-Star Game.
Well, I don't even know how to start, what to say. All I know is that I dedicated this game to my grandmother. She passed away 4 days ago. My family's in Puerto Rico watching, and I don't know how to explain it. This is an unbelievable feeling, playing in front of a hometown crowd and delivering like this. This is a dream of everybody's dream.
You have been hitting and hitting and hitting a 30-game hit streak, and you keep it going, so to speak, with a home run here tonight.
Well, I've been feeling pretty good. I thank God for giving me health. The whole year I've been healthy, and I told a lot of people if I was healthy that I was able to perform.
What about the pitch you hit from Sean Estes? What was going through your mind when you made contact?
I'll tell you what, the guy has a nasty curveball, so I was just trying to stay back. I didn't even know what I hit. I didn't even know if it was a changeup or a fastball. I knew that I made good contact in front of home plate, and the ball took off out of the bat pretty quick.
And last, what about these fans here in Cleveland?
Oh, they're incredible. They've been hungry for this situation, for the All-Star Game. They've been talking about this the whole year, and this is a gift from God. I'm telling you, they've been outstanding.
You are the MVP of the All-Star Game. Sandy Alomar Jr., congratulations. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much.
All right, he's the MVP, the hometown hero, Sandy Alomar Jr. with the hardware. Joe Buck, let's send it back to you upstairs.
All right, Chip, it's tough not to smile along with Sandy Alomar Jr. What you see is what you get with Sandy Alomar Jr., a wonderful person, part of a wonderful family. Sandy is the first Indian to win the All-Star MVP award. Back with more in a minute.
Hey, Fred, want a Brontosaurus burger?
No, Barney, I'm driving.
Oops, I dropped my fries.
Watch the carpet, it's pterodactyl.
This new Twister sure makes for a smooth ride.
What? Welcome to the 90s.
Everybody's eating a little KFC. Now you can try the new Bacon Ranch Twister, plus a Pepsi, just $2.99.
This is a demonstration. With all the Lucent wireless systems and technology out there, this is now just about the only place where you can't stay in touch. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
You're just... My name is Sutton. I'm with the Justice Department.
I am an American citizen, and I demand to see Alice Sutton.
He probably is crazy, but there's something about Jerry that's...
I love her so bad, she wrecks me.
Jerry Fletcher has theories.
This is my newsletter. Conspiracy theory.
Now, one of his theories is true.
I must have hit a nerve with one of those articles. If you hurt Alice, I'll kill you.
Conspiracy Theory, a Richard Donner film. Rated R. Starts Friday, August 8th.
Is it magic? Can you feel it? What time is it?
Smell time.
Mm-hmm. Body's on.
The jam is on. The Miller Lite Music Event of 97. Catch it.
Hate the taste of Arm & Hammer toothpaste? Then try new Smooth Spearmint. Now the baking soda toothpaste that dentists recommend most has a refreshing spearmint ribbon of flavor. New Smooth Spearmint from Arm & Hammer.
Troy Aikman is back to pass. He's looking, and ooh, Aikman's down.
He had a man wide open. What was this guy thinking?
Brute, it's all part of the game.
All right, guys. Same play.
A 3-1 win for the American League. Standing by with another hometown hero, first baseman Jim Thome, is Steve Lyons.
All right, we're down in the American League dugout with Indians Jim told me, Jimmy, you were a late addition to this ball club. You got to tell me what kind of feelings you had when you went to the plate with the ovation in front of the hometown crowd.
Well, I mean, it's definitely something indescribable just to be here and participate and watch, Sandy do great. And, it's awesome. I mean, this ballpark and the fans, I think they've done a tremendous job at coming out and supporting us, and they showed America why tonight.
Sandy Alomar is the MVP, teammate of yours. You got to feel that kind of pride just being on the same ball club.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, he probably had a lot of the same feelings I did because of the crowd. They cheer for you, and to produce like that's awesome. I mean, Sandy's having a magical year, and he proves it tonight. He's really going out and relaxing and just letting it happen.
Now, you are a big fan of our helmet cam down here, watching the replays. Tell us what that looked like to you being a player.
Well, it's definitely, I think it's a new thing to baseball. It's a little different, and, I think, it'd be nice to have it for the next couple years, whatever, and let it go on. I think it can help hitters out and pitching.
24 big home runs for you so far this year. What do you think this ball club needs in order to continue the success they're having in the second half?
Well, I think, number one, we got to get consistent pitching. I think our pitching has to get consistent. The Cleveland Indians are always going to hit. And when we don't hit, it seems like our pitching comes through, or we don't hit, or vice versa. So I think if we're going to compete and go to the dance, I think we got to go out and get another pitcher.
All right, Jimmy, congratulations and good luck.
All right, guys.
Joe, back to you guys up there.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. And our thanks to Jim Thome. Congratulations to Sandy Alomar Jr. and the American League. A 3-1 win. We'll wrap it up when we come back to Jacobs Field in a minute.
Some people are learning quite a lot about brakes these days. But what they may not know is that AC Delco has brakes for just about everything on the road. From Fords to Chryslers to Hondas to Toyotas. So, no matter what they drive or how they're driving it, they can trust AC Delco to put a stop to it.
Go where you wanna go. Leave the boundaries far behind you.
Introducing the all-new Goodyear Eagle F1 with racing-inspired dual aqua channels that sweep water away for serious traction in the wet, especially in braking. The new ultra-high-performance Goodyear Eagle F1.
Serious freedom. Goodyear, Goodyear.
Is this safe?
Is it safe? Safe?
Not safe. It's not safe.
It's safe.
It's not safe.
Not safe.
I read it wasn't safe.
It's too risky.
It's not safe.
What are you talking about?
Shopping on the internet.
Your son is shopping on the internet.
The internet? With his credit card. It's the future of commerce. I read about it.
It could be safe.
Well, how do you know?
IBM is making it safer to buy things over the web.
Snapper's great More for 40 deal. Buy any new Snapper walk-behind mower and get any one of these handy Snapper accessories for under $40 and get more from your Snapper mower. More efficient grass collection with the Snapper bagging system. More effective thatch removal with the Snapper Thatcherizer. Or more leaf relief with the Snapperizer Leaf Shredder. Go to your local Snapper dealer today and get more for 40.
Snapper. Anything less just won't cut it. See your local Snapper dealer today.
Well, we found out tonight that Mother Nature is a fan of the All-Star game. The rain, for the most part, stayed away, and once again, our final score, the American League wins it 3-1 over the National League. Be sure to catch more exciting baseball action with Major League Baseball on FX. Friday, the Toronto Blue Jays take on the Boston Red Sox at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, or the Texas Rangers battle the Seattle Mariners at 7 Pacific. And don't forget to join us for Fox Saturday Baseball to see the surprising New York Mets taking on the Atlanta Braves, plus other regional action. Coverage begins at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central with In the Zone. This is Joe Buck for Tim McCarver, Bob Brenly, Chip Carey, and Steve Lyons saying so long from Jacobs Field. For more postgame, remember, tune in to your local Fox Sports station. Hope you've enjoyed it from Jacobs Field in Cleveland, where the American League wins it 3-1, and the hometown hero, Sandy Alomar Jr., does it with a home run ball. Remember, more coming up on Fox Sports News.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, home of the NFL, NHL, and Major League Baseball.